Get it going here, Brock and Salk Show. Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com, Seattle Sports app, podcast platforms, and 97.3 HD2. So a lot of different places to find the show, find the station, listen to us, etc. Thanks for being here this morning on a lovely Wednesday. Daniel Jeremiah is going to be with us at 8:30. I was just talking to somebody yesterday who said he woke up yesterday so excited thinking that it was a Daniel Jeremiah day, only to realize it was only Tuesday and not Wednesday yet. But this is going to be pretty cool. Day, a couple of days here after the draft to have DJ after all of the time he spent on the air all weekend long and all of the time we spent leading up to the draft with DJ. Just going to be awesome. Perfect day to have him. We'll do it this week. I think we're going to do it again next week. So we'll have 2 weeks here to kind of go through everything that occurred during the draft and kind of what it all means now looking forward. And yeah, there's we got new sound, draft sound, et cetera. So going to be a fun one a little bit later as we talk to DJ at 8:30. Shannon's going to join us before that. She's going to join us at 7:30. We realized we haven't talked to Shannon in a couple weeks, which is just kind of on us. So that's a huge mistake. So Shannon will be with us at 7:30. And I think we might end up asking her about Jorge Polanco. I don't know. It's possible. It's possible we'll ask her about Jorge Polanco, who personally beat the Angels yesterday by himself. He's like, oh, you guys want to score 3 runs? That's fine. I'll score 5.
Massive amount of injuries right before the game. No problem.
No problem. Jorge just takes care of all of it. No big deal. Oh, you just do whatever he wants. Dude's unbelievable. I mean, it's truly, looking through some of the numbers are obviously completely insane, especially when you start comparing it to what he was last year. And this time last year, 29 games in, he had a 577 OPS. A 577 OPS. His slugging percentage right now by itself is 819. His on-base percentage is nearly that 577. Not quite. It's like, what, just over 500, something like that? Just over 400. Dude's been unbelievable. He gets on base. He hits for power. He's leading the league in WRC plus at 260, which means he's 160% ahead of the major league average right now. What? Those numbers don't even sound real. But it has just been a phenomenal month. I think it is fair to ask whether or not 2 things this year have been incredibly fortunate for the Mariners. 1, Polanco injuring his side, and 2, Ryan Bliss going on the IL. I think both things have ended up really helping this team. The fact that Polanco has not played the field, I think, and now look, he may end up going out there eventually, and all of this continues for the rest of the year, and he's Barry Bonds. I don't know. At this point, I'm not going to claim to have any freaking idea what the heck this team is going to do from day to day. But Polanco, not playing the field every day, I think has had a really positive effect on him. In his 30s, I think it's been a good thing for him not to have to go out there, worry about the defense, especially the shift to a new position, which I don't think he was very good at. All of those things, I think, have really helped him. And so his injury, while obviously limiting what he's been able to do, has allowed built-in off days, and it's kept him off his feet. And I think both those things have been really, really good for Mr. Polanco. The Bliss one, I guess, kind of factors in there as well, is like, okay, well, once he went out, then they start calling up guys like Leo Rivas and playing Mastroboni more, and it just, has allowed those guys to feel more comfortable in the field, which I think, we'll find out, is going to keep Polanco at the DH role longer. I like that. I like the idea of him off his feet. I don't know that we thought it necessarily heading into the year, but it's been pretty clear. And again, the Robles injury ends up helping out in some way also because it allows Rayleigh to get into the lineup without needing to play first base. You can put both he and Tellez into the lineup at once for however much longer that's going to be the case. And, you don't need the DH spot. So, look, I'm not happy that those guys got hurt. It's a huge bummer for them, and they might have contributed in their own unique ways. But I do think it's been pretty helpful for Jorge Polanco. I think it's allowed them to use him just as a DH. As for why the Mariners are now, 17-12, first place, winning constantly, I don't know. Lyle, what is it? What is it? Give me an answer. What is it?
I'm trying to think about what it is. I mean, they're all collectively hitting. The offense is carrying the team. Who thought we'd be saying that here at the end of April?
No one. I mean, exactly no one. Exactly no one. I don't know. Maybe a couple people. Maybe there were a couple of believers out there. It's truly remarkable what they're doing. I mean, look, it's been a month, right? 30th last day of April. So after today's game, we'll turn the page to May, and it'll be a new month, and we'll see whether or not it continues through May. We've seen hot months before, and I've always been pretty adamant about not judging a team based on what it does in April, because there's a long way to go. And, you know, I do have questions about whether or not their style is sustainable. We'll talk more about that later. But is there, and I'm not saying there is, but is there a correlation between the amount of running and aggressive baseball they're playing and some of the injuries they've had? I don't know. I can't tell you that. I don't know if Dylan Moore is hurt because they've been running him more. I don't know. But I think that there is a cumulative effect that gets built up over a year, and it's, you know, hard to be on your feet every day. For Polanco, that's been a little bit easier because he's not on his feet every day. He's sitting down. He's not standing up. He's not sprinting as often. He's not running around. He's not worried about defense. Dude's just hitting. He's just hitting. And there's a conversation here about changing his stance, and he's closed it a little bit, which he said was because of his knee. And the approach, obviously, is going to be a conversation as well. You know, we'll see over time whether or not all of those things are maintainable. But right now, who cares? Right? I mean, like, as long as they're delivering the results you want, which they are, he's been unbelievable.
The 425 has a theory, at least with Polanco.
Okay.
They say, you know how we usually release or trade a player and suddenly they have a great season when they aren't on the M's? It's like with Jorge, we lucked into getting him back for that bounce back season. You
know, go up and down. It's that this is baseball thing that everybody hates, but there's some truth to it. It goes up, it goes down.
That suggested that, right? That they bring in to get used to it.
It happens. Or maybe it doesn't even have anything to do with getting used to the ballpark. Maybe it's just that guys sometimes aren't good. And then sometimes they are. And you hope that he does it long enough that when the eventual downtime comes, it's limited in its scope. And maybe he finishes with an 850 OPS or a 900 OPS.
Moore just read that text about how usually Seattle doesn't get the bounce back players. Jorge Polanco was in real talks with the Astros this winter.
Oh, absolutely.
Could you imagine if he was doing this in Houston?
I can absolutely imagine that. Yeah, no, I can imagine it very, very easily because we've seen it with Teo and we've seen it with, you know, Gino. Was it last year? Yeah, Gino Suarez was 1 or 2 games away from being released in Arizona. They had I forget the kid's name, but he's in the minor leagues. They're waiting for him to get back from being hurt. He was 1 game away from coming back. They're going to release Gino. The Mariners are in all likelihood going to pick him up off of waivers. And then the kid re-injures his whatever in AAA. He needs another couple of weeks in order to get back. And during that time, Gino goes absolutely insane and just destroys the baseball. Guess what? He's not going anywhere. Mariners don't get him last year. The rest is history. Weird sport, man. Real sport. Real weird. Really strange. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. You know, the key is generally not to get too high and not to get too low. And I'm not going to jump up and down for April wins because they matter, but they also don't necessarily portend the future. Same as I'm not going to jump out a window because of April losses. But obviously, these are phenomenal signs for the Mariners. It's great to see what they're capable of when they put it all together. And if they can do it more consistently, it's not going to be every game, every week, every month. But if they can do it more consistently over the course of a season, then you should win 90-plus games. Then these teams are all that great, as you'll hear from Jeff Passan coming up in 20 minutes. Before we get there, we'll give you guys everything you need to know. It's next on Brock and Salk.
The draft.
It's a cool day in Seahawks history.
Is in the books, and we're breaking down came out of their most important draft in years.
Get a difference maker, and they got him.
Nick Evan kind of a Swiss Army knife kind of a dude.
Jalen Milroe.
Wow. This dude is a home run hitter.
However, Jalen deserves and earns the right to
Seattle Sports.
Windows are our home's top target for break-ins. At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer added security with our exclusive 3-layer security glass protection. Combined with our lifetime warranty, you'll have lifetime peace of mind. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
4
The Oki Golf Platinum Players Card is the perfect gift for your favorite golfer to welcome back spring. With 7 prepaid rounds at any public Oki golf course location, including the Golf Club at Newcastle and Washington National Golf Club, along with 7 50% off guest passes and unlimited discount fees, the Players Card is the best value in golf. And now through April 30th, Oki Golf is offering 1 free bonus round with purchase of the Platinum Players Card. Visit okigolf.com today to secure one for you and your golfing loved one this April.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call a physical therapist directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
Lens Enterprises reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or ride share for a safe ride home. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at Lens Enterprises, providing sustainable solutions for landscapes, farms, and gardens since 1976. Online at lens-enterprises.com.
Hey Cougs, Michael Bumpus here, inviting all WSU alumni and friends to the Cougs First Show and Career Expo, Friday, May 9th at the Maidenbauer Center in Bellevue. For education, networking, jobs, and Cougs swag. It's free to attend and all are welcome. Register at cougsfirst.org.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Evan Cohen here. Picking a place to build a life is a lot like selecting a draft pick. Make a decision that will set you up for long-term success. Pick Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, you'll find dynamic career opportunities, beautiful seasons, affordable living, and legendary weekends. From its high quality of life and great schools to its fine arts, culinary, and pro sports scenes, Wisconsin gives you so much to look forward to. That's why you should pick Wisconsin. Learn more about making Wisconsin your home. Visit pickwisconsin.com.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Spring has sprung. Need color to brighten up your yard or privacy trees to keep your neighbors guessing? Now is the time to buy. With hundreds of trees arriving in the nursery daily, Big Trees has the perfect tree for you. Check out our updated inventory list online at bigtreesupply.com or come visit the nursery today.
It's the World Fighting Championships at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. Saturday night, May 10th. Experience the thrill of live MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, and kickboxing. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this exciting mixed martial arts event. The World Fighting Championships, May 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Jorge Polanco 5, Angels 3. That was essentially the story last night as the reigning player of the week didn't slow down anything but. Instead, he decided to crush 2 more bombs.
Stretch and the 3-2 pitch. Swinging a drive into right field. Trout going back to the morning track, looking up. Goodbye, baseball. Jorge Polanco with a line drive, 3-run home run here at the bottom of the second. Stay hot, Jorge. He's one of the hottest hitters in all of baseball, and he continues to stay hot.
All right, poor Rick. He's trying, man. He's getting through this. Poor guy. That throat is not where he wants it to be. I've been there, Rick. I sympathize. There's nothing worse in our business than when you just can't talk and you need to. That was the one that Jorge hit in the second. That was a 3-run job. He had another 2-run shot in the 7th, and that accounted for all 5 Mariner runs. It was all they'd need. Bryce Miller was off. He was not himself, but he was good enough. He walked 5 in 5 innings. His velocity was down, clearly, but he gritted. He found his way through. He didn't allow a run. Said afterwards his back was tight, but sometimes you got to deal with that stuff.
One thing I got from Robbie when he was here in 23 was just that, a third of the year you're not gonna feel good at all. A third of the year you'll feel all right, and a third of the year you'll feel good. And it's how you get through the starts where you feel bad that really make up your season. So overall, I'm happy I was able to get through 5 without any runs and any damage. But it's frustrating how it's been 5 out of my 6 starts that I haven't felt great. So hopefully we're on the back end of it, and I can start feeling better moving forward and provide some length, because I haven't done that at all this year.
Yesterday was really the first time I watched him and was concerned. I mean, there have been others where he hasn't been great, and you're like, well, he doesn't look quite himself, but okay. Yesterday was the first time I watched and was like, that just doesn't look like Bryce Miller. Like, he couldn't find the strike zone, 5 walks in 5 innings, and they were like 3, where he wasn't really all that close on key pitches, and then seeing the velocity dip, and it just seemed like he was trying to find it. I don't know exactly what all that means. Hopefully it is just a little tight back or whatever, and he comes through this. But yesterday was the first time I found myself wondering, all right, if they do need another starting pitcher, man, what does that look like if you're missing 3 out of the 5 guys in your rotation? Not great. Vargas and Spire gave up the runs in the middle innings. Munoz closed it out, another perfect inning. He is yet to allow a run this year. The injury news, not really great before the game either. Mariners had 2 injuries. The first, Dylan Moore, placed on the IL, inflammation in his right hip, which he apparently hurt retreating to first base after a single at Fenway last week. Doesn't think it's too serious, but again, just being cautious after the core surgery a couple years ago. Samad Taylor called up to take that spot, and then Luke Raley was a late scratch after he tweaked something in his back during a swing and batting practice. Don't know exactly what that's going to look like. Fortunately, a little more positive news on George Kirby, about ready for a rehab start, and then Matt Brash, who is throwing more often as well. Hopefully those 2 guys will be back soon.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
All right, after mostly staying on the offensive side of the ball through the draft, the Seahawks took a nice step yesterday in filling out their depth on the defensive side, especially the defensive line. They bring back Moore's guy, Big Hank. Moore likes Big Hank. Jonathan Hankins, no downside here. Just a big, massive human who played well for them as a rotational piece up front last year. Not going to cost them a whole lot either, so nice to see him back in the fold. And, again, allowing some play with Bump and Stacy. With Wyman and Bob. Really excited about the Seahawks draft and why he gave them the 3rd best grade.
With the Seahawks, in terms of value, in terms of the players added,
I thought they did a tremendous job. Nick Emenwari in the second round. I think he's obviously going to give some Cam Chancellor vibes, but he's in good hands with Coach McDonald. You think about what he did in Baltimore with Kyle Hamilton, 6'3", 220 pounds, 4.3 speed. And I was really encouraged talking to his teammates throughout the process when they talked about his intelligence. They talked about how hard he works during practice and things like that. So very excited to see how, is he going to be used as more of a nickel? He'll probably be the start as the third safety, but how will they use different personnel packages to get him on the field?
I'll play you some other sound from Dane over the course of the day. And, of course, yes, Daniel Jeremiah will join us at 8:30 today for his breakdown of what the Seahawks did. Look, no one knows how this is all going to finish, but there just seem to be so many good reasons to like what they did over the weekend. We'll talk to DJ at 8:30 this morning.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
NHL teams move on from coaches. We are starting to consider some names here of who could become available for the Kraken. 3 big ones in particular. Mike Sullivan's the biggest, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Had a tremendous career in Pittsburgh, was recently let go. He's among the most respected game. He just coached the U.S. team at 4 Nations. To get him would just be an absolute coup. But by all accounts, he does not want to come to the West Coast, and I just don't see how that's going to happen. Peter Laviolette's another name. He won a cup in Carolina. He's now available, though, again, has not really had the reputation of really developing young players well. Did not get along very well at all with Capo Caco when they were both in New York, so that doesn't feel like a natural fit. Rick Tocchet, tremendous player for the Flyers when he was younger, well-respected around the league, just let go in Vancouver. Maybe there's a fit there. But if development is truly what they want with the young players, if that's the direction they want to go, yeah, I'm going to keep looking at David Carl, University of Denver head coach. I worry about a college guy making the leap, but sure seems like that may be the most likely direction for them. And then it's confirmed. Big news today. Pro Women's Hockey League expanding to Seattle with their 8th team. They'll pair with Vancouver, which was announced last week. They're going to play a climate pledge. They'll practice at KCI. One name that was seen at the exhibition game this winter when I didn't notice this, but Avery did. My daughter said that she saw the Seattle Spruce kind of all over as a name that a lot of fans thought might be likely. We'll see if that's what goes down. Nothing's been announced, though the colors do appear to be emerald green and cream. I'm going to go over to the press conference today. I'm kind of excited, so we'll find out more details.
It's exciting.
I know.
Love watching women's hockey when it's big, like the Olympics or some of the
WHL game we went to was awesome, so I would definitely watch if that's on here in Seattle, however many times a year. Sounds pretty fun. That's everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. I don't know how long it would take them. I would assume they'll start next year because they don't need an arena. Like, there's nothing to build.
Yeah.
All you got to do is, and everything is owned by the league, so it's not like there's local ownership. So I would assume they're freaking pumped. As you might imagine, they've really gotten into hockey and just love the idea that the women are playing at a high level. So, yeah, I'll go over there today, and I'll report back Tuesday. And there's a lot of great stuff with Jeff, including his new wrestling fame and all of that. But beyond all of it, just how good could the Mariners be in what is apparently a very weak American League and a totally bizarre division? Jeff Scott answers next on Brock and Salk.
Bump and Stacy.
Nick Emenwari's college coach, head coach of South Carolina, Shane Beamer, joining us.
Hey, Coach, how do you think his game translates?
He's got such a skill set because of his size and athleticism. He really can do so much from a coverage standpoint, from knowing what Seattle does defensively. And I think they like guys that are multifaceted and can do a lot.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
All right, we're getting close to the summer and can't wait for Snoqualmie Casino to debut the new hotel. It's going to be awesome, where comfort meets elegance, of course. And, new entertainment, new food choices, new restaurants. I mentioned the entertainment. Well, guess what? The summer concert series is back. You got artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, POD, all this summer overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley. Oh, yeah, the view's still there. Go to snocasino.com for tickets. Remember, Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in Seattle.
With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
What do you get when you assemble 50 manufacturers with over 400 new and used RVs plus manufactured homes on 20 acres? You get an RV buyer's dream. The Puyallup RV Show, May 1st through 4th. Free parking. Get tickets at PuyallupRVShow.com.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, dream engagement rings are our specialty. We have the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds, hand-picked in every price range, ready to compare side by side. Shop online at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Looking for Mother's Day weekend plans? Well, take Mom out to T-Mobile Park for an unforgettable day of Mariners baseball. The team is squaring off in a 3-game series Friday, May 9th through Sunday, May 11th. And on Mother's Day, the first 10,000 moms will head home with a brand new clear structured purse, thanks to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. A Mariners game is the perfect place to celebrate with Mom and the whole family. Lock in your seats today at mariners.com/tickets.
Whether you're building a single roof or a successful roofing business, roofing contractors like you need the right tools for the job, and software is no exception. Service Titan is on a mission to be the most powerful software platform for the trades, with purpose-built technology proven to maximize revenue, streamline operations, and deliver 5-star customer experiences. We are taking roofing companies like yours to the next level and beyond. Service Titan, we are built for this. See what we can do for roofers at servicetitan.com.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
My teacher is the best because she gives us pajama day.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, sponsored by WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher. You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Well, the seasons, they're changing. The guys are playing the sports outdoors. I know many are starting to maybe pull the lawnmower out and get back to the landscape and the outdoor work. I'm going to guess, Shannon, at IRG, maybe a little busier season?
Oh, absolutely, Brock. You know, we know when the seasons change, particularly when it gets warmer, people are in their houses pretty much all winter long with our cold weather, rain, et cetera, particularly here in the Puget Sound. And everybody's excited. They want to rush out and get going with their activity. I'm telling you, as a physical therapist for 35 years here, you need to prepare your body. So take time to warm up, increase some flexibility, do some stretches, because if you prepare your body and prevent injuries, those activities outside, particularly that exciting thing, mowing your lawn, is going to be healthier and it's going to be a lot more fun.
and you feel better. For more info or to book your appointment today, simply go to irgpt.com. It's all waiting for you right there at irgpt.com.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
OTC, Brock. OTC.
Over the cap.
That's what I thought. That was my first initial reaction. Over the cap. And then I thought about like over-the-counter medication, right?
Over
like
the counter.
We get so many medication ads on TV these days.
Yeah.
But I don't think it means either of those things. Jeff Passan on national TV yesterday, flashing an O, a T, a C, and then pointing to the sky. Good morning, Jeffrey. How are you?
Gentlemen, how are you?
We're good.
Salk, if you were to put together a list of your 10 friends, 10 friends that would be at Monday Night Raw and flashing gang signs to the whole country and having Pat McAfee scream his name.
Where would Jeff have been?
LOB, ESPN insider, and New York Times bestselling author Jet Passan is in the building.
Wow.
Where would Jeff Passan or Jet? Did he call him Jet Passan?
I don't know.
Jeff Passan.
He's not great with names. What is OTC?
Well, Mike, if you know anything about wrestling, you know OTC stands for Original Tribal Chief, which is Roman Reigns' nickname.
Reigns.
Yes, and Roman Reigns asks for the people in the audience to acknowledge him as the tribal chief, and in doing so, you stick a finger up and point your hand in the air because he is the one tribal chief.
Is that
but
different
apparently
from
you
Reno
don't know
Reigns?
this because you are not culturally resonant and you don't understand good entertainment.
Well, I
when you
used
see
to
it.
be. I used to follow wrestling. It's been a little while. Is Roman Reigns like Reno Reigns?
No,
Do you
I
remember
don't know
Reno
what,
Reigns?
what it,
Do you remember?
I don't
do you remember the
Reno
show Renegade with Lorenzo Lamas? It was like one of those. Like,
I remember like growing up in Cleveland. Like remember like even before cable, it's like you had to know the number of the channel, and we would like Renegade with Lorenzo Lamas was on channel 43.
Yeah, well, his name
Like,
his name in the show was Reno Reigns.
Did not know that. No, Roman Reigns. If you saw a picture of Roman Reigns, you would know who he is. He is he is a very famous wrestler. And here's the thing. About 5 minutes before that happened, someone came up to me and said, "Hey, we're going to put you on TV, and you got to do something. You can't just like stand there." And I froze. First off, I had no business like getting shouted out. None.
New York Times bestseller, ESPN stud. I think you do.
I think you do. I think it's a fair thing to shout.
I think in that crowd, I don't know how many other shout outs are going to be in that. How many other stars are in that crowd like you, Passan?
Yeah, I don't see myself like that. I appreciate you guys trying to make me feel good, but it's like if we're just looking objectively here, don't belong. Also, don't belong because like I'm generally awkward when cameras get on me and I don't have baseball to talk about. It's like I do everything I can to avoid that. So I had to consult with my son who was there with me.
Yep.
And I was like, what do we do? Because I have no aura. I am not cool. And this is like a big aura moment when it's just you in the camera and you got to vamp a little and you have to like,
you
can't, I can't look like the nerd that I am. And my son's like, you have to put the one to the sky. And I'm like, you're damn right I do. And so that's what we did. And my younger son was to my right, and some of my older son's friends were to the left. Wow. And I said, boys, we're gonna put our ones in the air and show the world how Kansas City does it. And it's precisely what we did.
Well, you nailed it, Jeff. Great job.
Acknowledge me.
There we go.
The only time I've been to one wrestling match years ago. I went to a Thursday night SmackDown, and I told the story before, and then I got to meet the guy. My buddy Chris and I made signs for the Big Show that said, "Hey, it's the Big Toe," and had a picture of a toe on it. And we thought that was going to get us on TV, but we got to meet him here last year, a year or two ago. He was in the building. Humongous human being, and he liked my sign.
Hey, can we get to baseball?
Yeah.
I got a lot of questions
Jeff,
here.
enough
Okay?
wrestling. How do you explain Jorge Polanco?
I think there are two ways to look at this. Way number one is going to be the more dissatisfactory one, which is, in any time in baseball, somebody can get so locked in that he looks like the best player in the world. But I think the better explanation is he's healthy. And we have,
Kind of. I mean, he's not healthy enough to bat right-handed. He's not healthy enough to play the field. So, he's kind of healthy.
No. But my point is he's healthy enough to swing the bat like he is capable of swinging the bat. And that's something that early in his career when he was in Minnesota, he was an all-star caliber bat. And I think that goes a really, really long way. Last year he was miserable, and he had the surgery in the off season, and the hope was to get him back to where he's been right now. But I'm not speaking out of turn here. He has far exceeded anyone's expectations, and the fact that the M's are getting the power out of him that they are, in this last week where he hit as many home runs practically as the rest of the team combined. He's been an absolute lifesaver and a really big reason. It's why when I look at wins above replacement, it's a fun statistic. It's an interesting statistic, but I don't think it's actually representative of the number of wins that a guy actually contributes. Jorge Polanco, the Mariners without him right now, I feel like are an under 500 team.
Yeah, I think with Cal Raleigh as well. And I think Cal maybe is actually leading the wins above replacement, but I totally get your point. Okay, a little bigger picture, right? We just finished the NFL draft. All these GMs say the same thing. They want the board to speak to you. What's the market going to do? When are players available, when you want them, yada, yada, yada. A month into the season now, as we close the books on April here this week, what has the sport of baseball, Major League Baseball, and maybe in particular the American League, what has it spoken to Jeff Passan?
It has told me that it is not only wide open, but also not very good. I think the Tigers can play. I think the Yankees, for a team that has some clear weaknesses, I think the Yankees can play enough where they're going to be in the mix. I think the Red Sox have shown that they're going to mash. They need some pitching. I look at a team like the Rays, and they're just so hot and cold. But when they're hot, man, they actually look like a good team. And I look at the American League West, and I say to myself, what the hell is this? I don't know who the best team in the American League West is. On one day, it can look like Seattle. When Hunter Brown is pitching, it can look like Houston. When the A's are swinging it, no, I lied. It doesn't look like the A's. Their defense, I don't know how much you've seen of the A's this year. They're a bad fielding team, and I think that's going to be what does them in. And the Rangers just confuse me so much because I look at the names in that lineup, guys, and I'm like, how is this team the lowest scoring team in Major League Baseball? Does not make any sense, but they have pitched well. And, even if they're losing games on a Little League walk-off home run, I think the Rangers are going to be in the mix. But in the grand scheme, Brock, let's look at the National League. The New York Mets are better than any AL team. The Los Angeles Dodgers, better. San Diego Padres, better. You can make a pretty compelling argument that the Chicago Cubs, better. The Arizona Diamondbacks, like right there, the San Francisco Giants right there, even the Cincinnati Reds. And I haven't even talked about Philadelphia or Atlanta. I mean, if you were to tell me 8 or 9 National League teams are better than every American League team, I'd say, yeah, there's a decent argument to be made that that's the truth.
So in listening to that intro you got there at wrestling, they referred to you as a best-selling author, and Brock and I both read The Arm. If people haven't read it, it's now a few years old, but it's still 100% worth your time. A tremendous look.
Dude, it's almost 10 years old now.
Crazy.
It's almost time for you to do what Gladwell did and do a Revenge of the Arm. Yeah, it might be time.
Maybe next comes The Leg. I don't know. But regardless, The Arm is a really, really great book on baseball and speaks specifically to pitcher injuries. And we have one here that we're now very concerned about. It's a grade 1 flexor strain for Logan Gilbert. Two-part question. A, what does that mean? And what does it tell you about his kind of prognosis moving forward? And then secondly, he says he's feeling pretty good. We've seen a couple reports where he said, hey, look, I feel like I dodged, but feeling pretty good. I already feel better than I did the other day. Would he be able to tell if he's heading closer to the dreaded Tommy John moment, or if it's actually on its way back this quickly?
So let's start with what the flexor is. When it talks about a flexor strain, the flexor mass is the bundle of muscles in your forearm, and they're overlapping muscles, each of which is connected. Like if you're looking at if you're looking right now at your hand and your palm is facing up toward the sky, if you move each individual finger while you have your other hand on your forearm, you can feel like different muscles moving in there. And so what the flexor mass does for pitchers is essentially it acts as a brake. When you throw a baseball, all of this energy and force comes up through your legs, up into your hips and your core, and when you rotate around, it gets distributed up to your arm. As your arm internally rotates around the shoulder. So, like when it looks like it's laid back and then the forearm comes flying through with the baseball, as your arm internally rotates like that, all of the force that's been built up through your body gets distributed down through your shoulder and into your elbow area, and specifically onto the ulnar collateral ligament. And as you are coming through and pronating, which means your thumb is sort of going down as you're throwing, the energy then gets distributed into the muscles of the flexor mass, which takes the brunt of it. So if your body is working correctly, the flexor mass is taking the strain and the stress off of your elbow ligament, which is a good thing. And so it's doing its job. But sometimes the stress and the strain can be a little too much. Grade 1 is the lowest of the three. Grade 2 is a partial tear. Grade 3 is a full tear. So grade 1 is a good thing. But because the flexor mass is attached to the elbow and is related to the ulnar collateral ligament, which is what tears during Tommy John surgery, quite often what ends up happening is guys who get Tommy John also have flexor damage, so it will sometimes be a 2-for-1 surgery. And you have in the flexor mass these muscles that, if they are not working optimally, they're not going to take on that energy anymore, and it's going to remain in the elbow ligament and put the stress and the strain there. So that's why a flexor mass injury is problematic. Can Logan Gilbert? No. Until he throws a baseball at full speed, no, he cannot. But if there's soreness that was there that is not there anymore, that's a good sign. It's just, as we know, with the arm, it doesn't really matter what happens until you actually try to throw a baseball at game speed, because that's the ultimate litmus test to see if you're actually going to feel okay trying to do your job.
Over the last 10 years, if you were to see mild grade 1 bundle strains, how many of them lead to a real negative result, surgery? And how many of those, is it a 50-50? Is it a 90-10? Is it what are kind of the odds through the years of that injury?
I don't know that I can put odds on that are accurate, Brock.
Okay.
There are guys who have flexor strains, and those flexor strains go away, and we never hear about them again. But generally speaking, when there's something wrong in your arm, it does not tend to go away or dissipate. Now, some guys have the ability to change things up, whether it's in their delivery and their training and their preparation and their post-throw work, whatever it may be, to make something like that go away. So I'm not sitting here and saying Logan Gilbert's going to be going under the knife at any point soon. But what I will say is, anytime there's any sort of forearm related injury, it's scary because it tends to portend something long term that you're not looking for. Now, I look at a guy like Masahiro Tanaka, who had forearm injuries his entire time as a Yankee, and he fulfilled a 7-year deal and didn't need any sort of elbow procedure. So there are some guys who just figure out how to work through it, and they can still be effective. But Logan Gilbert has all the hallmarks of a guy who's going to get hurt. He throws really hard, and it's not the cleanest delivery in the world. And with some guys, it just feels like it's a matter of time. And it's why, when I've been on the show the last few years talking about what a gift the Mariners have had in their pitching health, it's for a year like this where the two guys, as much as I think we all appreciate Luis Castillo, who, by the way, is a guy whose elbow has been a mess for years and has still managed to be really, really good and stay out there and throw and post and be effective. As much as we appreciate Luis Castillo and Brian Wu and Bryce Miller, in my head at least, outsider's perspective, I've always looked at Gilbert and Kirby as the two guys. Like the two with the most ceiling, the two who, if they are at their best, are going to carry the Mariners to something special. And both of them are down with arm injuries right now. And it feels like it was just a matter of time. It's nice if you're the Mariners that you have, and I know Emerson Hancock hasn't been great, but where you have Emerson Hancock and Logan Evans, guys who can come and capably fill in, and you look at the rotation and you're like, that's still pretty darn good. But at the same time, it's scary every time I hear forearm anything. It just feels like elbow, maybe not now, but eventually is an inevitability.
Jeff, you had any chance to see Ben Williamson? This kid has been really, really impressive. He's really helped.
I know.
Change this roster and this lineup and this infield. And I know everyone said we talked to, Keith Law, and he's like, the swing won't play. And he just doesn't have a great bat, this and that. Maybe he's not maybe he's not going to keep up, right? You got adjustments and everything else. The league will figure out who he is, but sure doesn't look overmatched.
No, he doesn't. And what I like about Ben Williamson is that he's taking really good at bats. Like in a lineup where we see a little too much strikeout, he has handled himself very capably early on. And I'm with Keith. I don't know that Ben Williamson is necessarily going to be the long-term solution at third base for the Mariners. But I will say this, within 2 years of being drafted, the guy shot through the system and made it to the big leagues. And I understand that some of that is frankly, other organizations, he may not be in the big leagues right now because they don't need a third baseman, and the Mariners did. But I also don't think that this was something that the Mariners did let's just take a shot. No, they really like him. And I think if not the long-term solution at third base, I think they feel like he's going to be a contributing member to this roster going forward because he's got a pretty good ability to get on base, and he can handle the bat well.
Jeffrey, I'll give you a little tip of the cap here, a little finger to the sky, a little original tribal chief when it came to this 2023 Mariner baseball draft. because you were singing its praises a year ago, almost right after it. Now Logan Evans has made his big league debut. Williamson, as you just referenced, was a part of that class as well. Not even one of the first 3-round picks. Now that we see Farmelo is back in action off of that ACL, what are the industry sources talking about that 23 class, and is the optimism arrow still through the roof?
Yes, and it should be. I don't have to tell you guys about Colt Emerson. I think everybody knows that if there's anyone in this Mariners organization who's like going to be a star, he's the guy. And Farmelo, just the tools there are really good. Like he has a chance to be a star caliber guy because of the position and because of the ceiling. And Ty Pete can play too. Like they nailed almost everything. Even Aiden Smith, who they traded for Randy Arozarena, and Brody Hopkins. Like, I'm not saying that that's going to be one of the best draft classes that we have ever seen. But if this goes down as the best draft class in Seattle Mariners history, it would not surprise me. Yeah, I think Brandon Garcia was in that class too, right?
Yep, he was, yeah.
Correct.
So as you, this is too early to have this conversation, way too early, but the Mariners are playing well. They're in first place. So let's have it anyway with the understanding that we know it's too early. Do we have a sense yet of what this year's trade deadline is going to include? Who's going to be out there? Who's going to be available? And what this year looks like?
I think it's probably a little too early at this point. Like, let's say the Blue Jays are out of it. Is Bo Bichette going to be there? Like, that's an interesting one. Let's say the Orioles are out of it. Is Zach Eflin going to be out there? Is Sandy Alcantara going to move? Like, there are going to be some guys. And I think it's mostly going to be pitching heavy. Like, if the Twins aren't in it, Tyler Mahle, Ryan Helsley, if you're looking for a back end option. I like, there's not going to be a Juan Soto. I don't think there's going to be like a superstar bat that's moving. But by and large, I think there will be options out there for teams, especially that are looking for pitching.
I think the Mariners are going to be looking for pitching or hitting if they're still in it at that point. Yeah. It's the strangest darn thing. Jeff, we appreciate it. Great job, seriously. And it's true. I mean, we'll watch him again last night, and some concern about Bryce Miller and a whole bunch of the guys on this pitching staff. But when you got Jorge Polanco crushing bombs a couple times a game, none of it matters as the Mariners roll and win again. What does it all mean? Brock's in next. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
The draft.
It's a cool day in Seahawks history.
Is in the books, and we're breaking down every pick and how the Hawks came out of their most important draft in years.
Get a difference maker, and they got him.
Nick Emenwari.
Kind of a Swiss Army knife kind of a dude.
Jalen Milroe.
Wow. This dude is a home run hitter.
However, Jalen deserves and earns the right to go out there, then we'll do that.
Exclusive insider content on the Seattle Sports app and YouTube, and the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup. That's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. I mean, mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. You know, like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. That's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Head to TrueGreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get in the freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now, here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
All right, hi, Brock. Good morning to you.
Morning, Michael. Morning, Michael. You got the button down a little low today, do you?
A little low?
Yeah, you kind of feeling a little
so?
sexy there.
Well,
no?
I don't know if that's the word I would choose. No.
Sexy on a Wednesday, 7 a.m.?
No, I don't think that's at all
You
the
got a
word.
big reunion you getting ready for?
I don't feel sexy at all. I can't tell you how little I feel sexy.
Yeah, you do.
No.
Big reunion with all you Pomona nerds would be great.
No,
So good.
don't feel sexy
Gosh,
even
I
a
wish
little.
I could be a fly on that wall.
Why?
Why? Just to see you and all your philosophers. See all your friends.
You think all my friends are philosophers?
See all your friends. See you guys. All the old stories. Man, I would love to be a fly on the wall down there.
Yeah,
Pretty
I
cool.
think you'd find it pretty disappointing. I got to be honest. I think you'd be very disappointed by what you see.
Is this 25 years of college?
Yeah. Wow. 25 years since college. So, yep. After the show tomorrow, going to jump on a plane, head down to Southern California, and be down there through the weekend. Get to see some friends. Get to see on campus for a couple days, which should be fun. Somehow it's going to rain in the Inland Empire on Saturday.
Wow.
Truly remarkable for me. I've never heard of that happening. But the world hates me, so it's fine. I get it. Like, the world is against me. Nothing will ever let me be happy. So
Are you
going to
make your way up to Sacramento, watch those A's and Mariners?
I don't think so. That would be about like a, I don't know,
10-hour drive?
7-hour drive away from where I'm going to be. So I don't know if that's necessarily on the docket for this particular weekend, but if I were to, I would expect in that environment Jorge Polanco to have 12 home runs in 3 games.
Salky, we have seen this so much the other way over these last few years. Right? Just so much of, man, can you just be what you've been? Can you just come to Seattle and hit? And we are seeing 180 the inverse. I don't think anybody could have ever imagined in the month of April, not a weekend, not a series, for this month of April, that Jorge Polanco is with Aaron Judge, the best hitters in all of baseball.
So
like
weird.
150% better than league average for this month of April. And you know, it's like Nelson Cruz in those stretches that Nelson will be on, where it's like, well, whatever you're going to throw up, beach ball. This thing's going out. This thing's going to get hit 1,000,000 miles an hour. And right now, Jorge is just on an absolute heater and has these Mariners at 17-12. And just people around him kind of doing their thing, right? Kyle doing his thing. Mooney, once again, the best closer in baseball, shutting it down last night, and finding a way to beat those pesky Angels.
They don't look as pesky, I got to admit, at the moment.
No,
they didn't look all that pesky yesterday. They looked just sort of anemic. Watching them like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's a major league. Yeah, I don't know. They didn't look particularly pesky, but they weren't all that pesky last year, and they still found all these ways to beat the Mariners late in games, and bullpen that's been giving it up. And yeah, it does feel as if the Mariners have just been like one step ahead of everything this year. And so, yeah, even though Spire and Vargas today kind of didn't have it and ended up giving up a few runs, you had hit an extra home run. It wasn't just the 3 that you got. You had 5 because Polanco didn't just have 1, but he had a second home run later in the game, and that kind of ends up holding up as the difference as you go on to win. And it's just a little bit more room for error, just a little bit more of a margin. And, those things, when Thornton gave it up twice in the last week or so, you had those extra runs, and those things they've come in handy.
I don't know, and Lyle, you can weigh in on this as well. You are such a rabid Mariners fan and have been for so many years as well. This does not feel like it's this 13-4 stretch. It just doesn't feel fluky. It just doesn't feel like, oh, yeah, this pitching is going to run out of gas. Yeah, it's just not going to get these kind of quality starts. It's just, there's no way you can have that precision. There's no way you're going to get contributions from, up and down the lineup the way you are with this just feels like, yeah, man, you look at the Angels. They look like a bunch of parts. Like, that's just a bunch of parts. And, with what's going on now with Jorge and with Cal and with JP, it just feels like, no, it's kind of every part of this lineup. They're getting contributions, and even when their pitching is not absolutely nails, and Bryce has got a bad back and he's got a career high in walks, it's all right. You find ways to play a little defense and overcome it. I don't know. This doesn't feel, particularly at 13-4 stretch, doesn't feel very fluky to me.
Yeah, I mean, there will be parts that go up and down throughout the year. I don't know if Polo will be the best hitter in baseball all year. I don't know if JP will be the best offensive shortstop in baseball all year. But if you want to look at what may not be fluky, look, what I like about the offense and in this stretch of when they've just been so hot is they've kind of taken everything that was good about the offense from the last year or two, and such things did exist because they hit home runs and they walked, and now they just put the ball in a little bit more and steal some bases, and you combine that all together, and it's a nice offense.
You know, we said that over the last few years. How many different times, Salky? Like, man, if you could just get that hit. Man, and I know they opened even the game yesterday, right? Bases loaded, nobody out. You get a 0. And instead of that compounding other problems, the very next inning, Jorge picks you up with a 3-run blast. You know, like, oh, yeah, Bryce just didn't have it today and gives up a bunch of runs, and you find a way to lose it to the Angels. Nope, he doesn't have it, but still ekes out and guts out 5 innings, and you get enough to close the door. I mean, it's pretty cool. And that Williamson guy is an absolute vacuum at third. Doesn't matter what comes his way, and I think that's picking up JP a little bit defensively. So they're all just kind of picking each other up, and this has been one heck of a run. And to sit here at the final day of April, it's 17-12, right, and 13-4 of your last 17 on the winning side of things, in different ways. This is about as good a start, I think, as Dan Wilson. Honestly, at the end of the month, this is as good a start as he could have possibly imagined.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Shannon about it coming up here at 7:30. Kind of get a sense of what's going on. What is sort of lurking on the outside of that is just some of these injuries, and specifically yesterday. It was the first time I've watched Bryce Miller and just gone. I know you were worried earlier. I watched those starts and was like, all right, don't quite look good. It's early, this and that. 92,
right?
5 walks in 5 innings. Like, didn't allow a run, found a way through it. Unbelievable for him. I mean, kudos to him. What a battler. What a grinder. Just a great tribute to his mental game and his emotional game to find a way through on a day like yesterday where literally he's throwing 92 mile an hour and just trying to figure out how to get the ball into the strike zone, which he could barely do. Unbelievable what he was able to accomplish yesterday. It's a credit, really, seriously, to Bryce Miller. But it's also a little bit of a long-term, like, hey, what's going on with Bryce Miller? George Kirby's still not back. He's working. He's getting closer. Logan Gilbert. Now you got this, like, what is going on?
Throw in Robles. Throw in Williamson, strained his back. Throw in Rayleigh in batting practice.
And I got some thoughts on the offensive guys and what's going on there. But the pitching one, there's just nothing you can do about it. I mean, like, it's going to happen or not. And there's just nothing you can do at all to try to avoid it. And that was sort of the message from Passan yesterday.
And Justin and Jerry, kudos to those two guys that over the last couple of years, when the phone calls came and the trade opportunities came, and as Justin told us during spring training, man, the equal sign, it never worked out. It was never an equilibrium. It was never equal parts, because you need this depth. And it's not 5, and it's Emerson, and it's Logan Evans, and start stretching beyond there.
It gets a little iffy.
Might get a little iffy.
Might get a little iffy after that.
Might get a little difficult. But.
No, that stuff's been great. And as I mentioned early in the show, I do think one of the most godsend-like moments for this team has actually been the Jorge Polanco side injury. Whatever it is that's kept him off of third base and in that DH spot, I think it's really been for the best. Getting him off his feet, getting him not in the field. I mean, like, it's made their defense better. It's made their offense better. It's allowed, Rayleigh and Tellez and able to kind of figure out what that whole thing looks like. It's really, I think, been a bizarre positive, even though it really looked like a negative when it first
We've talked about stars, man. We need stars. We need stars on a football team. We need stars on a baseball team. We need stars. We need stars. We need stars. Through this month of April, and it's 1 month and another 6-month journey. But through this month, you got the best DH in baseball. You got the best catcher in baseball. You got the best closer in baseball. And offensively, the best hitting shortstop in baseball. And because of it, well, you're the best team in the American League West.
Bump and Stacy.
Nick Imanwari's college coach, head coach of South Carolina, Shane Beamer, joining us.
Hey, Coach, how do you think his game translates to the NFL?
He's got such a skill set because of his size and athleticism. He really can do so much from a coverage standpoint, from knowing what Seattle does defensively. And I think they like guys that are multifaceted and can do a lot.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
No more waiting. It's time to go all in on that new car. And Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are the dealerships to make it happen. Why? Because they're all in for you. All in on the widest selection of new, used, and certified pre-owned vehicles with their combined inventory. All in on their amazing staff and incredible showrooms. And all in on setting you up with a test drive so you can take that car home the same day. Go all in, whether you're in the north or the south. Toyota of Kirkland and Renton got you covered. Visit in person today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
At Shane Company, we know getting engaged is a big decision. But once you know, you know. That's the way our customers feel when they choose a Shane Company engagement ring. They walk into a warm welcome and walk out with their dream ring, knowing they got it right. For almost 100 years, we've been offering personalized shopping experiences. And we're in it way past the honeymoon, with a free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, cleanings, repairs, and resizing for life. Shop with us at shaneco.com or at your neighborhood store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Oh, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Oh, wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news and stats to placing bets in just a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. That's JOEQ, JOEQ. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Always nice when your designated hitter outscores the other team by himself. Jorge Polanco drove in 5. The Angels mustered just 3, and that's how it finished. 5-3 yesterday. He hit one in the second for a 3-run bomb and decided he had so much fun he would do it again in the 7th.
Here's the 0-1. Swung on, drilled center field. It is a blast. It is on its way. It is good. Jorge Polanco, the hottest man on the planet. It is Planet Polanco. His second home run of the game. Absolutely on fire. It is Jorge Polanco 5. It's the Angels 1.
And it was nearly Polanco 6. I mean, he just missed one to the deepest part of the ballpark, and Adele made a nice little catch there. I don't know if it was going to be over the wall, but it was going to be about an article that Daniel Kramer wrote of Polanco really changing kind of his approach and his stance in the box.
Closing his stance.
Yeah, just closing his stance. And, man, has it kept him level and square and powerful, and his legs feel good and his body feels good from that side.
He said he did it in order to take pressure off his knee here by far, other than Aaron Judge, just the two of them standing alone over the first month of the season. They needed it too. Bryce Miller was off, gritted his way through it. Credit to him. But it is certainly a little something to be concerned about.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's making adjustments, and because our bullpen is fresh right now, and we had a couple guys, particularly Vargas, who hadn't thrown in a while, so getting him out there tonight was key for us. But no concerns. Just continuing to make his adjustments and do what he does. I thought even though the command wasn't quite there, was able to get a couple of ground ball double plays to get out of some innings, and was able to really through it and only give up the 2 hits in those 5 innings.
Yeah, again, to me, that's about the growth of Bryce Miller, the pitcher, because clearly he was not himself last night.
Yeah, and he said innings to try to stay limber. That's good news. It wasn't his arm. It wasn't a soggy arm. It wasn't some soreness there. It just, tied back, and he knew for his team. So with all the other injuries they've had else, and after an off day, you didn't want to tax your bullpen. Not the start of this little 2-game set, nor the journey they're going to go on here on the road. So getting it out, getting it done, and the boys are 17-12.
Yeah, well, then you got some questions. Dylan Moore placed on the IL with inflammation in his right hip, retreating to first base after a single at Fenway last week. He seemed pretty confident that it was not going to be scrappy. It's just bizarre. As he tweaked his back, it looked like, or an oblique or something, on a swing before the game. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully both will be on the verge of returning here soon.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
After on the defensive line, they bring back Big Hank, Jonathan Hankins. No downside, right? Big, massive human, plays inside, rotational piece, isn't going to cost them much, if at all. And defensive line, why not bring him back at this point?
Yeah, did not get that nose tackle. That position and the corner position, I think, would be the two, Salk, if you sat down with John Schneider after the fact and we all got to look at the war room and look where And look where guys were going. I think they had a nose tackle. I think they had some corners they liked. It just wasn't at the appropriate time, or there was a run on a few of those guys. So it's off season. You'd like to probably get that veteran out here as well. Maybe he's got a little bit more of a market than Hankins does, and maybe there'll be, a few more guaranteed dollars thrown his way. But yeah, both those guys know this place. Been in the system last year, and he'll plug that nose tackle role in early downs.
It's been fun continuing to learn about these players. Dane Brugler on yesterday with the station, and the draft was the tight end Elijah Arroyo. And after hearing Bert Breer yesterday, and then throw Brugler right on top of that.
Really athletic. Nobody could cover him at the Senior Bowl. So you take that speed, the pass catching ability, you add him, you think about that tight end depth chart, how much it's going to change in probably the next 2-3 years for Seattle. Arroyo is going to be a major factor in kind of moving up consistently over the length of his rookie contract.
I think also
really like this guy.
Yeah, I think when you saw, and gosh, how much fun is it going to be to talk to Daniel Jeremiah about all these guys an hour from now? I think we're all a little prisoner to the power of an opinion, the power of a broadcaster, right? And when DJ put up the comp of Noah Fant, right, wrong, and different.
Yeah, it hurt.
Yeah.
But that's the hard one.
That's right. I think that is just kind of one like, oh, that's not really. I want someone more physical than that.
I don't want Noah Fant.
I don't want Noah Fant, part 2.
We have Noah Fant.
That's right.
Yeah, that's fair. And then just, the fact that could have maybe been an offensive lineman. But regardless, yes, we will talk to Daniel Jeremiah, and we'll hear a little bit more about all these guys at 8:30 this morning.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
NHL teams are starting to move on from their coaches, Brock. So we're hearing about some names that could be available for the Kraken. Mike Sullivan's the biggest name. Tremendous career in Pittsburgh. Recently let go. He's not coming here. I just don't see it. Maybe
East Coaster.
He just wants to stay in the East Coast, so I don't see that happening. Peter Laviolette, same deal, but even worse, not a guy who develops young players. He's won a cup in Carolina, but also didn't get along with Capo Caco in New York last year. That doesn't feel like a natural fit. Maybe Rick Tocchet. He was just let go in Vancouver. He was a great player for the Flyers back in the day. Well respected. Maybe it's that. Development. We've talked before about David Carl, University of Denver head coach. Maybe he's the likely pick. I do have some
relation to George. No relation to George.
Carle.
That's right.
But I always worry just a little bit about college coaches. I don't know. We'll see where that ends up going. It is confirmed, though, the Pro Women's Hockey League, PWHL, expanding to Seattle. A press conference later this morning. It'll be their 8th team pairing with Vancouver, which was announced last week. They will play a climate pledge. And I don't know. Don't know what the name will be yet. It's not announced. The colors appear to be emerald green and cream. When we were at the PWHL exhibition, Avery said she saw a lot of people with Seattle spruce signs, so maybe they'll be the Seattle Spruce.
Look at our little reporter.
My little reporter,
our
Avery Salk.
Investigative reporter in training. Nice.
Yeah.
Are you going to make your way up to the Kraken Ice Complex?
Well, it's not at the complex
today.
It's not. I was there last night. Don't worry. I was there last night, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to go over to Climate Pledge today and just sort of see what it's all about.
Cool. Very cool.
I know it's not necessarily the biggest story to every sports fan, but I think it's really cool, and my family's really psyched. My girls are pumped. They think this is pretty cool.
You said this is the eighth franchise in the league? Okay.
Boston, Montreal, Washington, I want to say Minneapolis. I forget. I could kind of go through it. But that's everything you need to know.
Love it.
1:15 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show.
Love it.
All right. It's been a while. Brock, it's been forever since we talked to Shannon. Why have we talked to Shannon in a week or two? That's not like us. Usually.
I love when you text that to Maura and Lyle and I.
Why?
I don't know. Just something cute about it. We just need to talk to Shannon.
I just
we
do.
haven't talked to Shannon in a while. You love to just talk baseball with Shannon?
I do.
Who doesn't?
I love talking to Shannon, and I realized we hadn't done it at all last week. She was on the road, and I don't know, the timing didn't work out or whatever. So we're going to do it. We're going to talk to Shannon next. We'll hear about Jorge Polanco. We'll hear about some of these injuries and where they're all going and how the team has reacted and everything else about these first-place Mariners. It's next on Brock and Salk.
Bump and Stacy.
Nick Imanwari's college coach, head coach of South Carolina, Shane Beamer, joining us.
Hey, Coach, how do you think his game translates to the NFL?
He's got such a skill set because of his size and athleticism. He really can do so much from a coverage standpoint, from knowing what Seattle does defensively. And I think they like guys that are multifaceted and can do a lot.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
All right, what should we talk about here? You want to talk about the cold? Because it is still cold at night, even though it's starting to get a lot nicer here during the week. But if you are noticing that it is too cold in your house, it might be because your crawl space or especially your attic has issues with insulation. Yeah, a lot of homes in our area don't have great insulation. And so, yeah, that can lead to cold draftiness in the winter. Or then in the summer, which is coming, it can just turn your house into an oven. So good news, utility companies have special incentives to help out with the cost of getting your home properly insulated, including a once-in-a-lifetime rebate from Puget Sound Energy. So if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could qualify 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Yep, 95%. Don't wait. Call Crawl Pros, and they'll figure out what's going on behind that crawl space. Visit your home and inspect your crawl space for free. If you're worried about water damage or mold or insulation, critters, anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
This is a story. The maintenance specialist for university housing. He knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
This is Steve Almond, president of Pacific Power Batteries. And when we hear oy vey, zut alors, or oofda, we know that battery prices are high these days. Our job is to control our costs and offer a great value to you. We tried calling our vendors to ask them to stop raising prices, but they haven't returned our calls. Whether it's a brand new battery, a reconditioned battery with a 90-day guarantee, or a factory second with a 1-year guarantee, we'll have something for your budget. So stop in at any Pacific Power Battery store, and we promise to help you.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Dave Wyman joined by the mayor of the city of Lacey, Andy Ryder. Andy recently underwent successful treatment for prostate cancer. His treatment method? Swedish CyberKnife. Andy, what would you say to anyone considering prostate cancer treatment?
I'm feeling very confident about my treatment with CyberKnife. I absolutely recommend it for anyone who has been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Reach out to Swedish CyberKnife directly at swedish.org/CyberKnifeProstate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
My wife and I have been married for over 15 years, and I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after I turned 40, things started feeling different. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and I just wasn't interested in sex anymore. My wife told me her friend's husband went through the same thing, and it turns out he had low testosterone. So we booked a free T-check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that my testosterone levels were low too. We worked with a provider to create a custom treatment plan, and today, my wife and I are having more fun than we did on our honeymoon. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
An hour away from Daniel Jeremiah, I was talking to somebody yesterday, Brock, who was like, I can't believe. He said he woke up yesterday, thought it was Wednesday, was excited for DJ, and then was like, got to wait another day. Well, yeah, I would say that should be pretty fun this morning at 8:30.
And
so
I'll say this too, man.
now.
I don't say this a lot. G is right. That whole commentary in the backup studio right there.
Yeah, we can talk about it later. I don't know.
I know.
I don't care
he was
whether
right.
he's right
I
or
know.
not. It's
He
still
was right
just
on
sort of
that
the
one.
way it's going to go. Shannon Drayer, our Mariners insider, with us this morning. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning.
Having fun?
Sure.
Do you like covering a first-place baseball team, Shannon? Does it make your job a little bit easier?
Oh, we've been there before. You know, it's a long season. What I do enjoy, though, is offense. And I did not know that I enjoyed offense. Now that we're seeing more of it, it's quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
Why are we seeing so much of it?
I think there are a lot of things that are going on, and it's amazing just how quickly it kind of all snapped into place. That first week, 10 days, looked a little questionable, and then it took off. You know, one of the things that first struck me when they were hitting was, okay, that's not a bad top of the lineup you got right there. That's not a bad 1 through 4. You know, when Julio really kind of becomes Julio, that's actually going to be kind of a scary 1 through 4 if they continue along the way that they're going. And then you look a little bit deeper in the lineup, and they've got a decent middle. And then you look at the end of the lineup, and that's doing everything that you want a bottom of the lineup to do. And for me, it was just looking at it and not really being worried about specific, not a spot, but, you know, patches of a lineup that we so often are. It's a good lineup. It's a lineup that's hitting together. It's a lineup and talking to guys. The word trust keeps coming up. They bring it up. They trust the guy that's next to them. It's a lineup that clicks. You know, Julio was talking last night about it being a lineup that just, you know, feels right out there right now. And I think that has a big part of it. It is early, and, you know, we say that in the bad times, and we say it in the good times as well. And I think sometimes you can get away with a little bit more. But I do think that there has been a little bit more, I don't want to say buy-in, but perhaps being a little bit more comfortable with what they're being asked to do. And it's not dramatic. We're not, when you look at the numbers, seeing dramatic changes and differences. It's more a couple of steps in that direction. But, you know, they are taking the walks. The strikeouts are down a bit, which is good to see. And when they do hit the ball, their contact rates aren't as good as you might think they are, but when they make contact, they're doing something with it. So I think a lot is going right. I think you got guys in that lineup that you can depend on. Obviously, Jorge Polanco is going crazy. Cal has been on some really good streaks as well. And so, you know, they hit together and good about where they're at. And we say all that, and they're only one game better than this time last year. So the thing that I'm noticing when I point that out is this feels more real than that did, despite all of the injury problems that they've had.
Yeah, I think some could say, I got some texts from friends last night, isn't this a bit of a continuation of what we saw through mid-August and all of September last year? Isn't this kind of offense what we saw with Dan kind of at the helm over the last month and a half of the year.
I didn't think you saw a player taking over the way Polanco has, so that's a little bit different. And at that point, you had a better Julio, so it's a little bit different in that regard as well. But in terms of what they're asking them to do, and you know, you can't go out there and say, trust your teammate. That has to happen organically. And it's a new year, so that changes everything. You've got new people in that lineup. And I think, you know, along those lines, I don't think the philosophies have changed. I do think they got a good exposure to it last year when I was talking to Polanco, when he was talking about how this lineup is, it's just a good lineup and we do trust. And I asked when that started. He said last year. It's not something that happens overnight, but if you have enough of the guys that were there, if they're seeing the results, it's kind of funny because, you know, it's one of the oldest sayings in the game is offense is contagious. And we're seeing that. And you look over on the pitching side, and last year I said, you know, pitching, I think, is contagious too. Well, I think it goes the other way. I think some of the struggles that you're seeing with the pitching, the starters as well, is because they're not having that collective success. I think when you have success as a collective, it gives you a little something extra, be it, you know, as pitchers or as hitters. And I think we are definitely seeing that on the offensive side, too.
One of the sort of side stories to this has been just the number of injuries, and it feels like every time there's been another injury announced, and for us anyway, a bit of a surprise before these games, and then the team just goes out and wins. It feels like every time, maybe I'd have to actually go back and look at each one, but every time there's been a surprised IL stint announced before the game, teams have been like, we'll just go win again. How have they reacted internally to just some of the challenges thrown in their way?
It is usually next guy up. That's how it's been the majority of the time. When it was Logan, that was a little bit different. But they didn't let that affect them for more than one day. I think that there is a belief that comes in what they do, and I don't think any player out there in this game, and it does happen sometimes in baseball, and when it does, I think that's more of a reflection of where they are as a clubhouse and where they are as a team and not in a good place. But I don't think any individual in there wants to think this comes down to 1, 2, or 3 players. You know, you've got so many games that you have to play. It's a baseball team. Things happen. If everybody does things the right way, you've got a decent chance. So I think that in that regard, they always feel bad for the individual, but I have not seen it linger at all, and I have not really even seen it taken into the game, as you mentioned, and the results would say the same. Yeah, it's just like, okay, you kind of resign yourself to this is baseball, and somebody's got to go play second base, somebody's got to go out to right field, somebody's got to go play third base, and if we all do our jobs, we're going to be fine. So I think that, you know, kind of just shows the health of the clubhouse.
Speaking of third base, what have you learned about the kid? What have you learned about Ben Williamson?
He's really impressive. And, I mean, you guys talked to him in spring training, and he seemed like one of the kind of youngest inexperience in dealing with the outside things. I think he said he did. So that was Cal Raleigh. You know, it's a lot of guys you run into that very early on. And to hear all along that it's all about the defense, and you know, we're just going to have to see where the offense lands. He's not expected to do too much offensively, and to see him step up and, you know, it just hit right out of the gates, make some adjustments early on, which was impressive. And now I think he is getting into the point. I think you're getting now kind of the classic, okay, a little bit of a book right now. You're not going to see as many fastballs, and we'll see where that goes with him. But I just think that he has been a boost, and I'm keeping an eye on it because, you know, the teams that really kind of go far, sometimes it's not even for a whole season, but it's for a short amount of time. When a young player comes out of nowhere, and I'm not saying he's out of nowhere. He was a decent round draft pick, you know, something he was at the very worst going to be, you know, a help defensively to the team. So it's not like he's come completely out of nowhere, but he's, you know, wasn't one of the top 10 guys or one of the guys that you're circling and you can't wait till he gets up to the big leagues. But the teams that really do something, usually somebody does kind of come out of nowhere. You think a little bit of, you know, Evan Carter a couple of years ago, and he hasn't really done much since. But you're like, where's the Mariners guy? Who has done that in a long time? And I think Ben Williamson has a chance to kind of be one of those young players who does make an impact. But it is for him. It is still early, but heck of a start for him.
Shannon, you can shoot me down in a blaze of glory like you used to listen to in your Walkman in the 90s there in the quad at UW?
Yeah, I went to the concerts a couple of times at the arena.
Yeah, you did. So you could shoot me down on this, but I said to Salk yesterday with Rivas, with Williamson, I know Mastrobuoni's got a few more years of big league experience, but it just feels like these guys know what they are and what they're not. And like these rookies are going to come to Seahawk camp today, and they're going to, be introduced tomorrow and get to practice Friday and Saturday. They don't know as pro players what they are and what they're not. But the later round guys especially stick because they don't try to be something they're not. It strikes me that with Rivas, Williamson, Mastrobuoni, those guys in particular that are playing a bunch, like they know who they are as players, and they're just, I don't know, they're not. It feels to me as if they're not trying to do too much or something out of their character, of their skill set. Is that a fair observation from afar?
I think it is, and I think what kind of enables to do that is that they know that they can go out and play defense on any given day. Rivas is a good shortstop. Williamson, obviously, a good third baseman. And Mastrobuoni has proven that, he can kind of do the Dylan Moore role, and he's been solid everywhere. And interestingly enough, even though he's a middle infielder, he really enjoys the outfield and maybe is, somebody that is going to play a little bit more outfield. And, he unleashed a throw earlier this year out of right field that was just, really unbelievable, especially considering that it was coming from an infielder. He enjoys playing out there. So I think because they have something that they can lean on, and in the case of Rivas and Mastrobuoni, both a little bit older, both have, had, a lot of experience behind them, professional, whether it's at the big league levels, not so much, but a lot of minor league experience. I think that has a lot to do with it. And you throw in the messaging that the Mariners have had, and be yourself. You throw in the fact that the top of the lineup is the top of a lineup that you'll want to hand it over to, and that there's opportunity there. I think that has helped. But Rivas is on just a crazy streak of taking walks right now, and it reminds me of my high school days when, walk is as good as a hit, get on base, whatever it takes. But he's not going up there trying to, rip the cover off the baseball, and he never has. So, there's a maturity there, and I think that's played into this as well.
All right, what does the future look like for some of these guys? Going to go through some news things real quick, starting with Polanco. Obviously, he's just red hot. Do we expect him to get back into the field? Do we want him to? I would kind of like him to just sort of stay
close to hitting
DH.
from the right side.
Hit from the right side. Kind of where is he at health-wise?
Yeah, I don't think you change anything
Thank God.
now. He says he is very close on the other side, but I don't even think I touched that. One of the reasons his numbers are so ridiculous is it's a straight platoon advantage. Not that he was, bad from the other side, but I don't think that I don't want to change anything with him. And he's somebody that I'd still want to be careful with in the amount of work you give him. And this is, beautifully built in if it's just one side. He's going to end up hitting from the right side at some point, but he is so hot right now. I don't know that you just introduce that, and I don't know that you need to do that right now.
How about George Kirby?
Yeah, he was very happy about the throwing session that he had on Monday through to some hitters from Everett. And what kind of surprised me is his pitch count was a little bit higher than I thought it would be at this point. And the original plan, and I think they will stick with it, but maybe they get there a little bit quicker. We'll have to see. Every outing is going to determine what the next one, but they wanted him up around that 80, 85 pitch count before they brought him back. So the thought is, and the hope is that they can get him out this weekend to start that rehab appearance. And I would imagine they'd do 6 days and not just a 5-day on that. So you're looking at least 3, maybe 4 starts for him. So he's still a little ways off, but I'm going to keep an eye and see if they accelerate that at all.
How about Matt Brash?
Yeah, I have not heard much. Yesterday was my first day back at the park, so I think they're being very careful with him. He's got 30 days on that assignment. They can always, take that a little bit longer, but it sounds like he is getting closer, but I don't have anything definitive on that.
2 personal questions, Shannon. 2 personal ones for me to end it. Since we were speaking about you and the quad and you, Bon Jovi, most played out cassette in your Walkman back in the day. If there was one cassette tape that was the most played out in Shannon Drayer's life, what was it?
Okay, we will go in the non-Broadway or classical because that was a category for me, but that's easy. And now I can't even think of what the title was. It was Def Leppard. I think it was Hysteria.
There we go. Solid. Okay,
Hysteria's pretty good. Hysteria's the one with women and Animal and Love Bites and Pour Some Sugar on Me and Armageddon. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, at least 3 I went through on that in the little blue CRX.
That's what I'm talking about. How about best concert of your life?
Oh, gosh. These are both so old. This is so bad. There are 2. One was Pink Floyd at the Kingdom. Yeah, Flying Pig. It was awesome, and we were really close.
That's not the word I thought you were going to say after really, but I appreciate that anyway.
No, well, we were really close.
Close. Yes.
No, funny story was my mom is a musician, and she didn't let me listen to any of this as a child. And when I went away to college, and Kevin and Dale downstairs and the guy's house below, and they were the Beavis and Butthead of the group, got me into all of this stuff. And I finally started making my mom listen and Rush and things like that. And she just, was able to break it all down musically and loved it. And she wanted to go to Pink Floyd, too. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, how am I going to take my mom to Pink Floyd? And she was coming from across the other side of the mountain. Lights go down. She hadn't made it yet. And so for the whole first half of the show, I had no idea where my mother was. I was in like row 18. And so she pulled and she's small too, the little small mom. Went all the way up. She was in the second row. She made her way up to the second row.
Wow.
Yes.
Mom was into
that was pretty spectacular. And the other one, and this is the real oldie, this is taking it back to, when I was really little and the parents had the stuff on. Simon and Garfunkel did a show at the arena probably about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and there was no way that they could be as good as they were, even 20, 25 years ago. You think they're old, they're not going to be in good voice. It was spectacular. So I would say those 2.
That's pretty cool. Shannon, thank you. We missed you. Great to be with you today, and enjoy this run. It's been pretty fun, and have a good road trip. We'll talk to you soon.
You got it, guys.
All right,
Thanks,
there you go.
Andy.
There's Shannon. A little daytime matinee to finish up this homestand today. Mariners play this afternoon. Looks like it's going to be pretty nice out, so good opportunity to go out and catch a ball game and see these red-hot Mariners. Brock, let's do some Blue 88. Excuse me. Wow, old school.
Whoa.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
Start talking Pink Floyd, Simon and Garfunkel. You're thinking the mountains turn blue at 42.
I just went old school on that. That was sort of, I don't know where that came from. Bizarre. I haven't said that in a while.
Slow down.
I
Move
know.
Too fast.
Clearly. Brock.
You got to make the moment last.
Question number 1. Dane Brugler on the station yesterday. You guys seem to be on the same page?
Yeah, we are. There's 2 guys. I know you sent your list of some questions. Not homework to DJ. Just a little thought starters that we're going to get to today with him. These are the 2 guys. Cable Do I know. I've seen Cable do a bunch at Kansas over the last couple years. But the other guy here that Dane Brugler's talking about, he is going to be the one that I'm going to be probably watching. You'll be watching Milroe. I'll be watching this guy, this wide receiver the most. Here was Dane Brugler yesterday on the station.
Even on day 3, Tory Horton was one of the steals of the draft to get him where they did in the 5th round, to help kind of fill out their wide receiver depth chart. I won't be surprised if Horton's really pushing for starting reps at some point this year as a rookie. And then I love Bryce Cable, the guard from Kansas, who as a college tackle, in a lot of ways, kind of the maybe a day 3 version of Zabel, where he's explosive, moves well. There's a competitive edge to the way he plays. And he was my top-rated non-combine guy this year. And so I thought the Seahawks did well nabbing him in the 6th.
Yeah, the one thing that I heard from Cable Do, I think I mentioned this in my little profile of him or Blue 88, was that at times he was kind of like I know everything. I've been around the block. I've started 50 games. Can't really tell me anything new under the sun. So I think actually making the jump to this level where there's going to be a lot to learn, where there is some humility, as you heard from Steve Hutchinson yesterday, when you make the jump to blocking the old Leonard Williams and the Byron Murphys and the guys he's got to block inside. I don't think there's going to be any of that athletic arrogance or otherwise. And it'll be fun to see his skill set come to life. And then with Tory Horton, I was talking to the head football coach at our school, Mike Sanford. He did some Colorado State games last year. And he's like, I don't get it. Denver drafted this guy in the 3rd round from Illinois that had a 6th-round grade, and the Seahawks take this guy that I think is a 2nd or 3rd rounder, and they get him in the 5th. So we'll dig into a little bit more. I still don't have a good answer as to why he fell to the 5th, other than his ACL. It just doesn't add up. With that speed, that production, that playmaking, that's a guy that I will certainly be watching this camp this weekend and over the months ahead.
All right, question number 2. We kind of go back to the end of football season and don't really think about the draft process. Which Seahawks pick had the greatest swing between where they were at then and now?
That's Jalen Milroe, Salky. I was chatting with a mutual friend of ours yesterday, and he was like, I'm not buying this Salk train on Milroe, because I remember watching some of his games last year. I remember watching the Senior Bowl, and yeah, this was, Mike Rodak?
Yeah.
This was Mike Rodak.
He wasn't too high on him yesterday, that's for sure. He's from, 24/7 Alabama Sports?
The Tennessee game, for instance, last year, just not seeing things, getting sped up, not being comfortable in the pocket, just not making the right reads. It's a combination of things as a passer, but ultimately by the end, there's definitely, I think, a sense among the fan base here that they're ready to move on and try to find a passer that can run a little bit more of a traditional drop back passing game here. So that's kind of a long way of saying what he needs to work on, but he's got the elite traits in terms of the legs, the speed, his arm strength is there. It's just getting the timing, the accuracy, the anticipation, a lot of those things down that he's going to need to do at the next level.
Yeah, you've referenced a few different guys, Salk, over the last couple weeks. Jake Locker, some of his accuracy issues collegiately and his completion percentage. Lamar Jackson, his completion percentage. The thing about those guys, and even some of the other names you referenced, I never felt like the game sped up on them. They just, weren't the most natural throwers. Josh Allen at Wyoming, he played in a wind tunnel at 7,200 feet. But you never felt like, and the analysis wasn't like, ooh, can't process. AI anticipation. Oh, game's too fast for them. Yeah, they're a little clunky in their delivery, clunky in their accuracy. But that will be the thing with Milroe. They're going to have to be a real, you asked me yesterday about the right system, how to build this thing. It's kind of like Matt Brash's rehab assignment. Like George Kirby, you're going to have to build this thing, because if you think he's going to play this year and you think you can throw him to the NFL level and play between the tackles and play conventional football,
I don't think
that's unrealistic for any fan, because it's going to take him a while. The college game sped up on him, and we know how much more complicated and faster this game is at this level. So this is going to have to be, I think, a slow build of that immense physical talent he does have.
All right, question number 3. That's a good point you made the other day about kind of looking at these 3 drafts that kind of changed Seahawks history in various ways. Looking at 2012, then 2017, the plus, the minus, and then comparing them to now, what stands out?
Yeah, what stands out is in that 17 draft, man, did the Seahawks nail it in the late rounds. Like, if you would have put Chris Carson and David Moore in the 3rd and 4th round, you'd have been like, that's not an awful draft. The fact that David Moore was your 6th rounder and ultimately Chris Carson was your best player as a 7th rounder, pretty remarkable stuff. But it was the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, right when you had traded back. We were there that day, and you trade back, and there goes Ramczyk, right? And there goes Budda Baker. And then you go into the 2nd and 3rd rounds, and there were some dudes. TJ Watt was there available for you at the end of that 1st round that year. And there's some big, Cooper Kupp was available there in the 2nd and 3rd round, right? So there was an opportunity. Now, 4th and 5th and 6th, 7th, not so good. As I was looking at players that had sustained NFL careers from that draft in those years.
Not many.
But making sure you hit on that late 1st, making sure you hit on that 2nd, making sure you hit on that 3rd, making sure here that Arroyo is like a Bobby Wagner, right? That a Milroe is like a Russell Wilson. And that's unrealistic to think. Those are Hall of Fame caliber players. But the point is, yeah, man, that USDA prime stuff at the top of the draft,
there you go.
Zabel and crew, they got to hit. And they got to hit in big ways.
That's some blue 88. Yes, 88 today. I tell you, I bought some really good steak this week for my birthday. No. I don't do it that often, but I went out. I decided to splurge because I wasn't going out for dinner this year. It's like, you know what? I'm going to buy whatever the nicest steak is at this grocery store. So I went to the grocery store, and they had a dry-aged New York, and I went with that. It was the best steak I've ever cooked at home.
Salk, a
I just
carpenter's
nailed
only
it.
as good as his tools.
I just nailed it this time.
And there is a difference. There is a difference.
There is.
Yep.
The dry and like I'm not usually going to spend. It was a one-time only thing. I can't just.
No.
Can't bring myself to do that very often, but did it this time and it paid off.
You know what I got to
really
get you then? I got to get you a little Costco gift card.
Oh.
So that you can, and I know you don't like the east side. There's traffic on 405.
No, the problem with Costco for me is just that there's not enough people in my family who will eat it.
Well, this is what I'm saying. So the Costco's now on the east side, you really cater to some of their demographic. And you know what they got? Wagyu. And they sell, they sell a single Wagyu New York steak.
Really?
So I was like, you know what,
man.
Mr. Bruner, I got to do this. We'll do it as the appetizer. Remember 2 years ago at spring training, I made you in that Yoshida sauce?
So good.
Bro.
Yep.
Bro.
Yeah.
Not even bro.
Yoshida, you're a little cultural appropriation, I felt there. All right. Coming up, we're going to do a little buy-sell, Brock. I'm not going to the east side. We both know that. It's too much traffic over there. Buy-sell next before Daniel Jeremiah at 8:30 on Brock and Salk.
Bump and Stacy.
Nick Imanwari's college coach. Head coach of South Carolina, Shane Beamer, joining us.
Hey, Coach, how do you think his game translates to the NFL?
He's got such a skill set because of his size and athleticism. He really can do so much from a coverage standpoint, from knowing what Seattle does defensively. And I think they like guys that are multifaceted and can do a lot.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
All month long at a casino not far away, a share of over $98,000 in cash and prizes is rocketing your way. Embark on an epic quest for cash every Saturday in May at Silver Reef, with 2 winners destined to be drawn every hour from 7 p.m. till midnight. It's the return of the envelope, and that means galaxy-sized fun. Claim 1 free daily entry. Don't forget, your Reef Rewards card can save you up to 25 cents per gallon at Lummi Bay Market next to Silver Reef. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5 exit 260.
The Oki Golf Platinum Players Card is the best value in golf, with 7 prepaid rounds, discounted guest passes, and green fees. And now through April 30th, Oki Golf is offering 1 free bonus round with purchase of the Platinum Players Card. Visit okigolf.com today to secure yours.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, dream engagement rings are our specialty. We have the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds, hand-picked in every price range, ready to compare side by side. Shop online at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey, it's me, second base at T-Mobile Park. In my view, it's pretty sweet. I can see the big dumper flashing his platinum glove, firing a perfect throw right at me. Here comes the tag. Oh, got him.
Another strikeout, throw him out for Cal Raleigh.
Then there's Julio, stomping on me on his way to a stand-up triple. That dude is unreal.
Swinging a line drive, Julio round to third with a 2-out, 3-run triple.
And JP, smooth as silk, snaring line drives out of thin air.
And he takes a hit away!
Come check it out for yourself. There's nothing like being this close to the action. Although I'm still waiting to get invited to the wind dance. A base can dream. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
The Mariners wrap up the homestand this afternoon with another value game against the Angels. Go to mariners.com/value to snag $10 tickets to today's midweek matinee at 1:10. Plus, check out the complete value game schedule, including all 3 Randy Arozarena bobblehead giveaway games May 27th through 29th.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. So one of my favorite customers I ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband, His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
This is Matt Coker from West Coast Men's Health. Has Viagra stopped working for you? Do you hate the side effects? If you've taken Viagra for any length of time, you already know that pills are not the solution to ED. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. No pills, no shots, no surgery. We can also treat Peyronie's disease. Our non-invasive treatment for ED is painless and highly effective. We have treated thousands of men just like you. Stop living with this problem and do something about it. Do yourself a favor, do your partner a favor, and call us today.
Call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com. HSA cards welcome and financing available.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Mark is sorry about just Mike.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
All right, people are trying to convince me on Costco. I go to Costco.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I go to Costco. Yes, gas, travel,
But you're not going to buy
wine,
for
toilet
New
paper.
York's at Costco.
Not for myself. No one in my family eats steak, so
That's
it would
right.
just be me. Like that's not going to spend $40 to buy steaks. That doesn't make a lot of sense. No, I go to Costco. I just don't go to the east side. Let's I try to avoid that.
Did you say $40?
For I don't know, whatever, over many steaks. Yeah, more than that.
Yeah.
Tariff prices obviously gonna kind of
Okay, with
jack
that buy or
up a
sell,
little
here we
bit.
go. A
Oh,
little buy or
buying,
sell,
selling.
buy or
That sounds
sell.
like more tariff conversation. Has the price of buying and selling gone up now, Maura?
we
That's
have
why
not
we've not
added
done
any
this.
tariffs to buy or sell.
We haven't done it as much lately. We haven't been able to do the segment as much lately.
Hey, did you see they're fining Jeff Ulbrich, the NFL, for the kid getting the number?
Oh, I just had my iPad.
They said
on the
he
table.
left it out and his kid found it. Yeah. Or it was
I'll
on
just
a.
leave my Gmail.
He
You think
posted
you're
a
gonna hide
video.
that?
You didn't
can't
see.
hide that.
It was from his Ole Miss dorm. Him and his friend.
No,
like,
I
posted
know.
a video.
No. But by saying, oh, he just I didn't do anything wrong. The kid, I just left it out. Like you're selling your kid more. I guess
I think
is
the
what
kid
I
might
mean.
have admitted where he got it.
Man, just brutal.
I'm buying that finest, but.
Whatever initiatives in relation to last week's matter, everyone's like,
would
what
think-
community service is related to that?
I would think you just fired. Yeah.
All right, first up, Ken Walker gets traded before the season starts as SI.
Oh, every question, Maura.
Man.
If I was obsessed with him, why would I be talking about getting him out of here?
It was kind of a dramatic pause she even gave
I know.
before it, right?
In the back row.
I am going to say bye. Yeah, I'm going to buy that one. Now, buy with a little caveat, and that is show up and show out through OTAs, right? That being Charbonnet, Kenny McIntosh, and Damian Martinez. Like, they got to be available, right? If all of a sudden Damian Martinez may have hated going in the 7th round, but I don't think there's a better spot as a 7th round running back he could have gone to. Where you're going to
might as well keep him on the team and see what happens. Running backs get hurt. Might as well have him around. Maybe he starts. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he comes back, hears all the noise, and decides he's ready to let it rip. But I don't think you trade him now. Not.
Jorge Jorge Polanco finishes the season with the M's best OPS.
And it's high level the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think I got over the course of the season.
When it's all
overall, I sold.
Oh, you're selling.
I'm selling.
I even played his song and he didn't sing along. I think for the
Sold
first
to the
time
lady
ever.
in the second row. She's an 8. She's a 9. She's a 10. I know.
Is it gonna be
exactly?
Who's second right now?
Dylan Moore?
Dylan Moore, yeah.
Well, then there's
gonna be Cal Raleigh. It's enough. Or Mitch Gar. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be Cal Raleigh.
Okay, I'm gonna sneak one in here. Lyle, Mora, you guys can waxing all the
There's been no
nutritional
waxing.
plan.
No.
All of the eyebrows, trim down the
Didn't do
haircut,
that.
looking good. He's got to maximize this new physique and build.
Oh, yeah.
and
G
shape
sold
and
me on that.
Sold or buy? Buy or sell?
I'm
2 days.
2
Friday and
days, Lyle.
Saturday.
2 days, Lyle.
It's a whole weekend. It's alumni weekend.
Well, then sure, 2 days.
Doesn't have outfits picked out like
Lyle.
specifically for this.
Yeah.
Lyle. Of course he's got 2 outfits to wear, Lyle.
Course of the weekend. It's a matter of whether or not they're special and whether I pick them out ahead of time. Buy something? What are you, crazy?
Yeah, I don't know
about it. That's what the kids do now.
All right, got one more? Got one more for us, Mora? Sneak one more.
I mean, I look awful in clothes. I look worse with terrible. Doesn't matter what I weigh.
Are you still breasty, even though you're down a little bit?
No, not too breasty.
Everyone's talking about how they kind of shifted their style. They took more like run stoppers. They don't have the pass rushers they used to. They figured out one for Kittle.
Got Kittle done.
Well, thank God, because what you want to do is spend a lot of money on an old guy. Yeah, I'm going to say yes, it's closed.
What if they don't? What if they don't? What if they're actually wise and said, you know what? With the supporting cast, maybe not as great as it was your first 2 years. Before we jump in here and pay you $50, have to, you can play your 4th year out here, and then we could franchise you for your 5th year. Like, what the smart play is actually, let me see you do more with a little less around you. You're wrong. We gave up all these assets.
I like that.
Well, actually, why don't you watch them in training camp?
Yeah, I like that.
Why don't you watch that season play out?
Yeah, I like what you're going. I like where you're
That's
going with
actually
that.
the prudent move.
Yeah, I think I went 20 minutes.
All right.
I love the text coming in. Buying that Salk will have at least 2 shirts with a single horizontal stripe. Yes, that's possible.
You're going to have a Salk stripe.
And then this is so nice from the 425. Well, you look terrible throwing the first pitch out a couple of weeks ago. You. That's nice. I appreciate that. That's really good for the ego and my confidence, and that's just nice. I appreciate it. Thankfully, I've lost a couple pounds since then. I'm sorry my pants were too tight, but
Can I ask you a personal
that's nice.
question?
That's really
super personal question.
Has it ever stopped you before?
I woke up this morning and knew today was just going to be one of those weird days. When you buy, it's just all
just
feel.
see whether or not they fit. Yeah.
But what's fit to you? Like, does it feel good or does it look good?
I don't know. I don't really think about it. The other things, does it cost less? Okay, perfect. I'll buy that one. I'm really not interested in spending a lot of money on clothes. So, yeah, I just kind of, probably price would be the thing I look at most. Is everything you need to know. And then, yes, Daniel Jeremiah coming up in 20 on Brock and Salk.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Looking at Cal, the question, can Cal keep this up? I mean, probably not. I'd feel so much better about this team if Julio went on not some kind of a tear like Cal, but just get back in there.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here, and I know some of you on this Wednesday morning, right? The weather was gorgeous last week, and some of you probably did some of your spring cleaning, maybe in the garage, maybe you did some landscaping, and you're just sore. You're hurting. Maybe you got arthritis that is flaring up. You don't have to be a former pro player to know about injury and pain and how it affects your quality of life. I know many of you have painful joints from arthritis. That does really affect your ability to go do the things you love to do. Then you need to call my buddy, Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine over there in Kirkland. He's ready for you, 425-823-4000. You give him a buzz. He has seen so many patients through the years suffering from chronic joint pain. This has been his life's cause. Many have jumped aboard here lately. I like to say this, that, when he's been at this for over 30 years, he has. But when you meet with Dr. Nelson, you feel it. This is his passion. He wants to help people. And now he's got more tools than he has ever had in his tool bag. Yes, including stem cell therapy to help eliminate your daily pain. So give him a call, 425, as I said, 425-823-4000, or visit danielnelson.com. DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Right now, have beautiful, ultra-efficient, clean technology windows installed and pay 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 18 months. Only from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. And they'll even pay your sales tax. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Something amazing is happening. Technology is working harder, faster, and more reliably. It's delivering results that work. But who makes technology work? CDW. We're a full-service technology solutions provider, advising our clients and designing customized solutions so they can reach their goals and do amazing things. CDW. Make amazing happen. Find out more at cdw.com.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. You know, like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
4 down territory. Going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Dave Wyman here with an incredibly special guest, the mayor of the city of Lacey, Andy Ryder. Andy's a proud Seattle sports listener and recently underwent successful treatment for prostate cancer. His treatment method? Swedish CyberKnife. Andy, tell us about your treatment.
The entire treatment was just 5 days, less than an hour a day. I spent more time commuting to the appointment than actually being in treatment.
Any side effects during or after?
I've had very few side effects. I've been very lucky to not have some of the side effects that I was worried about with other treatments.
What would you say to anyone considering prostate cancer treatment?
I'm feeling very confident about my treatment with CyberKnife, and I absolutely recommend it for anyone who has been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Thank you, Andy, and congratulations. Reach out to Swedish CyberKnife directly. You don't even need a referral. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after turning 40, I noticed my libido just wasn't what it used to be. That's when I reached out to Revive Health. Their team knew exactly what I needed, which is why today, my wife and I are both more satisfied than ever.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, text BOOST to 65555 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com to schedule your appointment. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help. Text stop to cancel. See privacy policy at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy policy. For info on how opt-in info will be used and terms and conditions at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of short code service.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first,
Well, there was Jorge Polanco on one side and the Angels on the other, and it turns out one Jorge Polanco was better than a whole team of Angels yesterday. He was awesome. Couple of home runs, Brock. He accounted for all 5 Mariner runs driven in as they beat the Angels 5-3. Here he was in the second.
Here's the stretch and the 3-2 pitch. Swinging a drive into right field. Trout going back to the morning track, looking up. Goodbye, baseball.
Yeah, it's not fair to keep playing Rick. I feel bad. I mean, like, Polanco's doing this to torture. Poor Rick. We've all been there. Anyone who works in this business knows that when your voice goes, there's just nothing you can do. It's the worst. And Rick is a machine. He just wants to work. Don't blame him.
He got that Clayton dog to him, doesn't he?
Does.
He's just not going to quit.
Right. Like, I'm just going to keep going out there. I have to keep working. And
I'm not sick. No, I'm not sick. I'm fine.
Feel bad. He's been awesome, Jorge Polanco has. And then on the other side of it, there was Bryce Miller, who was not great, but he didn't give up a run. It's one of those weird games, right? 5 walks in 5 innings. Never felt comfortable, but just used his guile, used his stuff to find a way through, even when he didn't feel his best.
One thing I got from Robbie when he was here in 23 was just that, a third of the year you're not gonna feel good at all. A third of the year you'll feel all right, and a third of the year you'll feel good. And it's how you get through the starts where you feel bad that really make up your season. So overall, I'm happy I was able to get through 5 without any runs and any damage. But it's frustrating how it's been 5 out of my 6 starts that I haven't felt great. So hopefully we're on the back end of it, and I can start feeling better moving forward and provide some length, because I haven't done that at all this year.
I'll tell you, I like a bunch of things about this from Bryce Miller. One, just the ability, to use his mental acuity, his pitching sense, and all these things to overcome what was not good stuff yesterday. And then secondly, just the team element. He's not worried about himself. The team length so that they can do what they need to do as a team.
Okay, it's finally time. Again, I knew this was going to be a wacky Wednesday, Whack-em Wednesday. I'm going to shoot down too, because at any moment's notice, you got to be ready to go without any reps or any preparation. So you're sitting over there on the sidelines after every hit. Is he going to get up? Is he not going to get up? Is he going to get up? So it's really not that great. And then secondly, these pitchers only work 1 out of 5 days. Oh, what a life. They just, you only have to pitch 1 out of 5 days. No, there's a lot that goes into building up to that. Thirds of the season, and you still got to just grit your teeth and go out there and fire. So I'm just shooting down like a blaze of glory.
It's a good thing you're here to do all of that for us.
You're welcome. All of you.
Meanwhile, injuries a little bit problematic here. Dylan Moore goes to the 10-day IL yesterday.
He's 33. How is that beautiful, man?
32. He's going to be 33 this year.
How is that possible?
I know. I'm here.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
I feel like most people say he moisturizes,
he
not
lotions.
he
Yeah, Brock's gross. Let's just go
lotions
to
on the skin, or else you get those again.
Go to Big Hank.
Lotion on the skin, or else you get those again.
Why are we even doing this show today? Jonathan Hankins, Brock, is back. Talk about that.
I bet he moisturizes when he wears those jogging suits, those suede, soft jogging suits. And we're going to get his podcast again, which is, I know Maura's super excited about. She didn't miss an episode of that last year. Big boy plays nose tackle, could not find one in the draft. The draft was not loaded with a bunch of volume of nose tackles. Not a surprise. It won't be a surprise when Shaq Griffin probably signed as well sooner rather than later. So knows the system, knows Aiden Dirty. Love it. Just continue to
like
add
the Big
to that
Hank
room.
move. Seriously, I'm glad they did not reach for a defensive tackle for depth in the draft. They didn't need that. You can find that. If you had a chance to find a legitimate game-changing defensive tackle, great. And maybe the kid from Notre Dame ends up becoming that, Riley Mills, over time.
That spa podcast with Hank.
Oof, he's got a lot to say, man. He's got a little bit of juice to him. That's for sure.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Kraken still looking for a Pocket maybe is going to be a name that gets quite a bit of talk here after he's no longer with Vancouver. And then David Carl, University of Denver Cup winning coaches that are currently available. I don't think it's going to go down that way. And after the show, Brock, I'm heading over to the which is announced as of this morning, the 8th team in the PWHL, Pro Women's Hockey League. I'm psyched, and I know a lot of kids in the Salk family.
Oh, this was Avery?
This was Avery.
Oh, Avery seems to think she saw a lot of what?
She saw a lot of signs for Seattle spruce when we went to the
the 1, the 2I, the 3, the 4I, the 5, the 7, the 9.
You asked where the teams were in the PWHL. There are currently 6.
Okay.
The Montreal Charge, the Minnesota Frost, and the New York Sirens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
New York Sirens is a funny one because it's, that's a great name. I can't believe no one's named anything the New York Sirens before. That's awesome. Daniel Jeremiah, we've been waiting for this since the moment the draft concluded. He will join us next on Brock and Salk.
Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Nick Ebenwari is with us. Nick, how are you, man?
Super blessed, super grateful, but I feel like I should have gone a little sooner, but I landed in the right spot ultimately. Had a great connection with them, so I'm glad I ended up going to the Seahawks. But in my notes, in my phone, I kind of had an NFL, it's personal list, so that's a funny thing I for myself.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
All right, it's true. I really don't know what I'm going to wear for my reunion this weekend, but I do know I'm going to look good thanks to Eastside Weight Loss Clinic and whatever I wear. That's why I'm not that concerned. I'm down weight. I look better probably. I think I weigh less right now than I did when I was in college. So I'll take it, man. It's pretty good. It's all thanks to Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. The whole time, the food tastes good. It's great recipes, real food, nothing fake, real food that you buy at the grocery store, and then you cook it at home. And it'll adjust with your lifestyle. It's designed to develop long-term lifestyle habits, keeping you at your target weight, looking and feeling your very best. It's why I swear by it. It's why Ryan starts with a 15-minute phone call. You can schedule it today at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Hey there, the deer season that saves bucks. Like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
It's the World Fighting Championships at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. Saturday night, May 10th. Experience the thrill of live MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, and kickboxing. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this exciting mixed martial arts event. The World Fighting Championships, May 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
4! The Oki Golf Platinum Players Card is the perfect gift for your favorite golfer to welcome back spring. With 7 prepaid rounds at any public Oki Golf Course location, including the Golf Club at Newcastle and Washington National Golf Club, along with 7 50% off guest passes and unlimited discount fees, the Players Card is the best value in golf. And now through April 30th, Oki Golf is offering 1 free bonus round with purchase of the Platinum Players Card. Visit okigolf.com today to secure one for you and your golfing loved one this April.
No more waiting. It's time to go all in on that new car. And Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are the dealerships to make it happen. Why? Because they're all in for you. All in on the widest selection of new, used, and certified pre-owned vehicles with their combined inventory. All in on their amazing staff and incredible showrooms. And all in on setting you up with a test drive so you can take that car home the same day. Go all in, whether you're in the north or the south. Toyota of Kirkland and Renton got you covered. Visit in person today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from Nunn Better Tax Resolution. So, Greg, not all tax resolution companies are the same. There are some that are definitely not local. There are others that don't quite know what they're doing even. Well, I tell you, these ads that all of us hear, Fresh Start program, they make you feel like, hey, man, I can just easy peasy get my taxes written off. No. And I've had several clients actually come to me after going through that process, and they just get no response after a while. They're passed around from person to person. That doesn't happen at my firm. You are familiar with the cases that come in. You're working on them. I'm familiar with every case that comes into our office. And I know what's going on and have the ability to really advise our taxpayers very well on what to do. If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. Nunn Better Tax Resolution, from stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. Nunn Better Tax Resolution.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, obviously, this is something we've all been waiting for. Daniel Jeremiah of NFL Network joining us as he's done for however many of the last few weeks, getting ready for the draft. And now that it's all done, DJ, I know you don't do draft grades. I haven't seen draft grades, but what do we think?
I liked it. I thought they did a nice job of finding some needs and filling some needs while not reaching for those players. I thought where they landed them, there was value there. I thought there's a nice mix of kind of like the steady, reliable guys and then some upside plays as well. So I was a fan. I mean, I can tell you this: you guys were the only people outside of like people within the league and family that got a text message in the first. I didn't know why we didn't have the video of Schneider calling you. I didn't know if he was going to call Zabel first or call you first. I didn't know.
Why'd they end up on him?
Yeah, why Zabel?
Why'd they do like the conventional thing that got me screaming the day of the draft? Why do you think they ended up
a choice between Zabel and another player? I think it was a choice between Zabel and getting out, and they just obviously weren't able to land on something. He was for me, he would have been like one of my top 4 available players, and they're all similarly graded there. So you've got a position of need, and you've got someone he's got elite makeup. You talk about this new system and wanting guys who can move. He can do that. So, I mean, I don't know that it was that hard. I think I would have been surprised if anybody else was to pick, to be honest, based on how all fell.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking as we were watching. 12 of the 17 players that went before him play on it out. Like if they had traded out, there were so many big guys that were gone. It felt almost not. Maybe there were teams that didn't want to come. I don't know what it was like behind the scenes, but if I would have been John in that spot, I don't think I wanted to, just because of everything that was gone.
Yeah, and it really kind of to me the lack of depth at certain positions, and they needed a tight end. And you could say, okay, well, I have a little bit higher grade on the tight end where they're picking in the first round, but man, look at the tackles you're going to be looking at. Teardrop. I mean, I think there were some good players there. I think Ratledge, Miles Frazier, good, solid players, but definitely a teardrop from those first 2 interior guys.
And then the Seahawks come up on day 2, and we knew they had ammunition. Salky had sent it to us in our show note the night before, like, hey, man, all you got to do is trade, this and this, and you can come all the way up into the mid-30s really, really easily. They do.
Yeah, Eamon Wari, I mean, gosh, I'll tell you exactly what number he was on my list to give you an idea of what value I thought they were getting there.
15, I believe.
Yeah, even where you're not having to part with, a future first-round pick, that's always a win for me when you can pull that off. So they get a top 15 player in this class and to find Cam Chancellor 2.0. This felt a lot more to me like Hamilton, like how Hamilton can be used in Baltimore with that kind of, I just think he's a more, and it sounds, I don't want to hate on Cam Chancellor because Cam Chancellor's a really good player, but this guy's got so much more twitch and speed and juice and burst. Like to me, that's not a great comp.
So why was he there? I mean, what was doing there at 35?
I can tell you exactly what happened. I did my last mock draft, and I heard from his agent, who called me after the mock draft was over and said, I don't understand. How can any sense? And I said, because every single year a good safety falls to the second round. I mean, you can go back and track it. Brian Branch was a top 20 player and went in the second round, and as much as maybe we do publicly. Now, I think it's a mistake. I think that you can look at a lot of those guys. McKinney's another one.
Buda Baker.
I don't agree with it. I think it's foolish because we see so many of these guys who are somewhat can't-miss players, and they end up being great pros. But that's just how the league is, man. So that's why he's available. It's not a reason. That's it.
I think for Salk and I and a bunch of our audience, we mentioned so many of these names. I know Salk's going to get to Milroe, very enamored with him, and I think at the right spot at 92. But of all the guys that I don't know over the last few years, I don't know Elijah Arroyo at all, and I would say our audience probably needs to learn the most about him. What don't we?
I know Salk says he's a good friend of mine, and he says he consumes everything I put out. Who was my comparison for Arroyo on the draft?
That was around here. Yeah. It was your comp to one Noah Fant.
Yeah. But a motivated
Noah so not
Fant.
Really.
This happens all the time, by the way, during the draft, is that you see comps go to teams where you had them, compared. But
tissue stuff? Or are we talking about real stuff?
No, I think it's a lot of soft tissue stuff. I'd have to go back through and find all that stuff in a different document. But he went to the Senior Bowl, guys, and if you would just popped on the Senior Bowl practice tape and watched him move around, the first-round pick. Like he's got height, weight, speed. He can separate. He can track the ball. He can go up and get it. Just, and then when you talk to the coaches at Miami, they say, look, even when he was healthy, we underutilized. Restrepo just kind of was like that was where the targets were flowing for Cam Ward, who's comfortable with him. But at that point in the draft, be a really solid starter.
Go ahead, Salky.
Will he run over? Will he break more tackles than Noah? I don't mind Noah Fant knock over a defender.
I wouldn't say that's his favorite approach.
Okay.
To me, he's gonna more likely to, especially the more he played, you saw a little more stiffness with him. It was kind of straight line speed. This guy's a little more loose.
I even saw some folks say
and he does look like a jumbo receiver. Now, I don't think that's where you want him to make his living out there against corners, but if you can utilize him in the formation and put him out there,
have more two receiver sets. Maybe there is an opportunity to do more of that where, you throw a couple tight ends out there and then I'm intrigued.
By the way, this is what happens when you've been just doing draft stuff forever and then you come home and your wife has to take a trip with your daughter as a pool guy, and I'm like, you got to get out here right away. This is not good, man. This looks like this pool is going to overflow. We got major problems. And then he texts me back, it shouldn't overflow since I have to come home and have my whole house be underwater.
It'd be nice to have a pool guy, don't you think? Wouldn't it be nice to have a pool guy? I don't have a pool guy.
Are you saying you got to go right now? You got to go?
No, the tempo issues that I've been having.
Then we can't let you go until we at least ask you about the quarterback, for God's sakes.
Oh, yeah.
This is the thing year 3 for Jalen Milroe.
Okay, I'm going to say I think Jalen Milroe is going to get a chance to start too. And this is one of the things I get excited about Milroe, and I understand he's got a long ways to go in terms of his development as a passer. But he's like the perfect skill set to me for such a thing. Like we got, Sam needs a couple weeks, his ribs are messed up. We got to, we can run him out there and we can just commit to his legs and that style of play for a couple weeks. I don't think initially you could much more than that because you're going to need more from him as a passer, but I think he can get you through a couple game stretch year 1, and then the hope is that breeds a little bit of confidence, and now you go into year 2 and you see what how job that to me is kind of that's the beginning liftoff for that whole thing. Is I feel like you will see him for a game or two, and I think what's going to happen.
Numbers back at me. He's a numbers guy, and he gives me the completion percentage of Jalen Milroe. And why do you say he's inaccurate? Why do you say he can't throw?
That he's almost he's a 64.3% passer through college. And when you look at the numbers of guys that he's comped to, Holmes, not that he's being comped to him, higher than Lamar Jackson, higher than Jake Locker, it's a pretty remarkable figure. So I'm sorry, just to set the stage there.
Yeah. Being a QB, spray it more ever.
It was bad.
The combine was like every other throw was like, well, that one's 5 feet over his head. Oh, that one's a one hop. Oh, that one. Where's the glitch in the whole kind of passing thing? Because the numbers would tell you, as Salk said, it's really not that bad.
Well, I would tell you that similar to Lamar. Lamar was much more comfortable in the middle of the field. Like everything in breaking, he was much more comfortable. And Milroe is that way. The seam ball is the best throw that he makes. You can find some cut-ups of him just throwing out. You'll see issues with him where his eyes and feet aren't connected to each other, and that's why you get some bad misses. Now, I remember, and again, I'm not comparing him to Lamar at all. Lamar was further along in the process, but I remember having this conversation on Lamar, because the numbers and the eyes did not marry. And one of the things that I said was, it's not like every incompletion is the same. Like the incompletions, like you might just have 3 incompletions, but they were so bad that it leaves an impression in your mind that there's just no way this guy can't do it. Like these are so, there's outlier how bad some of these
That's how I feel about Kyler Murray. Like that's what I see when I watch Kyler Murray. The numbers show that he's reasonably accurate. Moore was pointing that out the other day. And then I watch him like he missed that guy by 12 yards. Like it's not even close.
Yeah, but the other side is like you also have to remind yourself, well, it is just one incompletion. You know what I mean? Like there is something in his favor to that, gosh, even though it's a bad miss, like somebody that strikes out on a ball that's, 3 feet outside, like it's still just one strikeout. So he's not polished by any sense. To me, the biggest issue is just getting his eyes and feet to marry up and connect. That's the biggest problem. But there are some throws that he's comfortable with and that he makes. The last thing I would say is that completion percentage in college is just not a useful number. Like it hasn't been in a long time. It's just there's so many ways to manufacture that. So I would never if you hear accuracy and completion percentage connected, I would divorce those two real quick.
Can you fake some of those things in the pros? If he's not the most accurate passer, can you devise an offense that takes advantage obviously of his legs first and foremost, and I don't want to say minimizes the risk the risk of the throws, but as you just said, kind of gets the most out of what he can do to make him an effective quarterback or potentially eventually an actual franchise quarterback?
I mean, I think in some ways you're running some college stuff, and I would be heavy RPOs. Like that's again Lamar, where he's most comfortable coming into the league was just RPOs, whipping slants. Like he could throw those all day long, get comfortable with that, and then on top of that, you're going to move him around. Now, there is interesting discrepancy. A lot of his big runs came on scrambles versus design quarterback runs. Like, he's not quite as good on design quarterback runs as you would think for a guy who's that fast and that athletic. Most of his stuff came off of, just scrambles on pass plays. So I think they tried to incorporate more of that this last year at Washington, or from, that Washington offense going to Alabama. And I think that staff maybe was a little surprised that he wasn't even better at that most of his runs were kind of organic runs.
So we hammer through Thursday and Friday, and now we get to Saturday. And this is, John Schneider will tell Bob and Dave in the afternoon, like this is where the money is made. And through the years, the Rick Woolens, the Shermans, the Cam, we all know the names, right? And the 4 through 7. So it was Riley Mills, it was Tory Horton, it was Robbie Oots, it was Bryce Cabledew, it was Damian Martinez, Mason Richmond, Ricky White. 3 quick questions. Yeah. Out of that group of 7 guys, which one was your favorite pick?
My favorite pick, there's 2 of them, but I need Riley Mills to just come back and be healthy. If he can come back and be healthy, he would have been in my top 50 players. When I watched him on tape and he was healthy at Notre Dame, I thought he was a top 50 pick. I loved him.
Wow.
So, and then you find out all the, like you talk to the people at Notre Dame and like the wiring stuff. I mean, the guy driving to go see the team in Atlanta, because he couldn't fly with the surgery. Like all scattered throughout the league in different roles. We all liked Riley Mills. Like that was kind of all our guy because he kind of felt like a guy we'd been around with the Ravens. Okay, so that would be one, and then Tory Horton would be my other one. Tory Horton is someone who I would have stuff.
Yeah, I want to get to him.
Is it just that? Is it just medical?
He should never have been there talent-wise at that point in time.
Yeah, I got to get to him at the end of this thing, too.
Well, I mean, I think Robbie Oots going to get a chance to be kind of that fullback, kind of that hybrid player. I think he can carve out a role.
Percentage of their career earnings of these 7, which one you buying?
Horton.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah, help me out against CU a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. Best player on the field. Sorry, Travis Hunter. That day, that dude was unstoppable. I've talked to people. They love him. He's a great kid. Runs 4.3. Like, how is he sitting there as the 166th?
Yeah, he was my 73rd player. So To me, it was all just off of the injuries and going through that process. The 23 tape makes him a top 50 pick every day of the week on Sunday. So, I mean, it's really just that simple. But the guy can do everything. He can play inside, he can play outside. He's smooth, fluid. He can separate. You can see he ran 4.41. He's got just kind of beautiful flowing change of direction. He can go up and get it. He's got a big catch radius. So, I mean, honestly, like the way my notes read better than 70. Just that simple. That's just the medical staff coming into the draft room and saying you can't take this player at this point in time.
So we've been incredibly complimentary of the draft that the Seahawks had. On the other side of it, just to, for some realism's sake. One, did they get enough offensive line, 5th and 7th round? Did they do enough to improve their offensive line?
I mean, if you're going to nitpick, I would have loved to have had one more. And they could have maybe got something at Marshall's.
What would you have? What Marshall's? Well, I think that's the bargain store. I don't know what to tell you. Like shopping at Marshall's and Bradley's and Zayre's and everything else. Like I'm pretty familiar with the Marshall's brand. Could you have gone?
I think. Let me see. I had them. You want to know where the numbers were, where they were graded? Because I think I had them very similarly graded. And if it was close, I would.
In the 50s, I know that. He went after Arroyo, but not too long.
Not by much. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I made the mistake of highlighting all this stuff in blue font, and you don't realize how hard it is to. But it was Ratledge versus Arroyo. We talked about Arroyo. So I'll pull up by offensive lineman. That's easier. It's in yellow. Don't ever highlight stuff in blue.
No. Never. No, we're done with that.
Ratledge was 62 for me. Mm-hmm. And Arroyo, I think, was early 50s. He was 51. So I had a little bit
better.
I had Arroyo just a.
Second question would be: did they do enough? Did Mike McDonald wants a defensive-minded football team? I've been saying a lot for the last however many. They only picked 2 defensive players.
Yeah, I mean, I think they came into this draft in pretty good shape there. So you take an upside flyer. I don't think Riley difference maker and a playmaker. So I thought their defense was in pretty good shape coming into this process, so they decided to go on the other side of the ball. And look,
these 20-plus minutes have done nothing but fortify my overall thought, DJ. When the hay was in the barn Saturday and they were done, I thought, my goodness, this feels a tremendously bright guy, and John Schneider loves him and has leaned into him. Is this not Baltimore Ravens West?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. It's so funny that these guys, some of them are in GM chairs, others are personnel directors, others are coaches in other places. When we were all together in Baltimore in the early 2000s, and we all appreciate what they value, and then those people spread out around the league and they take those values with them. So I don't think it should be a surprise at all that you felt that way, because I think that's
the common themes or threads or what it might say about Mike McDonald or John Schneider or the organization or where they're going. Does anything stand out as
achievers in there? Like there's not as much wishing and hoping. There's a lot of guys. Now, there's a couple flyers, but for the most part, these are all accomplished guys who've played good football. You know what I mean? Like, let's just go get guys where there's no guesswork. We know exactly who they are and what they are. They have a history. They have a track.
You in first class, flying home from Green Bay Saturday night, what would he have seen?
Drool.
Are you gone? Are you conked? Or are you still wired?
To lean back in my chair. I don't ever put the chair back, because you're a horrible person if you put the chair back. Right. But the guy in front of me had a pretty wicked cough, so I was just like glued.
Golf. Does that mean you're watching like golf lesson stuff, or does that mean you're watching live golf?
No. I watched a golf match. Grant Horvat. That was my flight home. Watching that.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you were just I gotta watch the live.
I don't
tournaments.
understand any. I don't really watch real golf. Allen's agent and I said, hey, Josh Allen might be my favorite player to watch play football. I think I actually enjoy watching him golf even more. Golly, he hit the ball a country mile.
Responsible? Should we have done that?
What was that?
Man, I don't know. It was nice. That was nice. I mean, man, everything. There's nothing left. There's
nothing left to say. I found myself thinking that it had to be a bizarre experience finding out in front of the entire country that your dad had completely convinced the world that you were better than you were. And then who do you talk to? Because your dad is the one who did all this to you. Like, I feel legitimately bad for him.
Yeah, I'm not anymore, but this is going to be every agent's PowerPoint when they're going to meet with clients and say, you need me.
Yep.
I think that's a really, 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 like an imbecile. This is what you do when you go into that room. He might be a first-round pick right now.
DJ,
Second-round pick.
Salk has said to our
instead of
bosses
fifth.
multiple times, Brock needs me.
Glad we get you one more week next week to finish this thing off. It's been awesome.
fun.
Seriously, thank you for all of the help and everything leading up. We knew a lot of people were.
They have nice stuff in there.
Maybe TJ Maxx. You never know. A lot of options. All right, we'll be right back. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Not a little sooner, but I landed in the right spot ultimately. Had a great connection with them, so I'm glad I ended up going to the Seahawks. But in my notes, in my phone, like I kind of had like the NFL, it's personal list. So like, that's a funny thing I put my
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton. Afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details. You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Rick Riz here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafy and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
Hey, Brock Ewart here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. The weather is warming. The sports are moving outdoors, Shannon. Maybe time to take care of that lawn and pull the old lawnmower out. Is it a time where you get a little busier as the weather warms?
Oh, absolutely, Brock. You know, what we know, particularly in the Puget Sound, we have these cold, wet winters. The weather changes, the sun comes out, and everybody wants to rush outside and do things. And I'm telling you, that's great, but you got to take time, listen to your body. You got to prepare your body for those activities. You don't want to go too fast, too soon. So warm up, stretch, make sure you have flexibility, a little bit of conditioning, because if you're conditioned and ready and prepared, those activities outside are going to be so much funner, if that makes sense. You're an athlete yourself, Brock. You know how important warming up is.
No, I like funner. I think they would tell you more fun, but I kind of like funner, and that's exactly what IRG is. For more info or to book your appointment today, simply go to irgpt.com. Remember, that's irgpt.com.
Hey, it's me, second base at T-Mobile Park. And my view, it's pretty sweet.
I can see the big dumper flashing his platinum glove, firing a perfect throw right at me. Here comes the tag. Oh, got him.
Another strike him out, throw him out for Cal Raleigh.
Then there's Julio, stomping on me on his way to a stand-up triple. That dude is unreal.
Swinging a line drive, Julio round to third with a 2-out, 3-run triple.
And JP, smooth as silk, snaring line drives out of thin air.
And he takes a hit away!
Come check it out for yourself. There's nothing like being this close to the action. Although I'm still waiting to get invited to the wind dance. A base can dream. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
The Mariners wrap up the homestand this afternoon with another value game against the Angels. Go to mariners.com/value to snag $10 tickets to today's midweek matinee at 1:10. Plus, check out the complete value game schedule, including all 3 Randy Arozarena bobblehead giveaway games May 27th through 29th.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me the freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to accuse you of manager.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
A lot of fun there with Daniel Jeremiah, and I think overall really happy with what the Seahawks did. Again, as the big split in this draft, I think pretty clearly is what you might think of Jalen Milroe and what his capabilities are. And,
yes,
that's why he's a third-round quarterback, because there are going to be people that look at him and say, nope, no way, not going to work, can't throw the ball well enough. And there are going to be people that look at him and say, well, hold on, with his running ability and what he could do X, Y, and Z, if you could just tweak this and utilize that, you could turn it into something. The one thing I did not love to hear from DJ was that the challenges he has with designed running plays.
Yeah,
that was a surprise. That surprised me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of his best runs have come when the play breaks down, rather than just running to the assigned spot. Now, let's be clear: in the NFL, designed called run plays very few and far between. You do not expose, even if you are 225 pounds and run 4.4, you do not see the Baltimore Ravens pick spots. And there will be some zone read or some occasionally designed power and sweep, but you don't see much of that, Salk. So his big plays with his legs will come when things break down, or boots and nakeds and play action and movement and move in that pocket with him. I'm really glad to get a couple answers here that I was very, very curious of. Mm-hmm. And those two really are Riley Mills and Tory Horton. And the fact that he says about both those guys, like Riley Mills was just watching the tape this year, he's a top 50 player. He's a top 50 player. Like, he's up and down that line. He's physical. He's a Raven. He's a Steeler. He's just a lunch pail. And then when you listen to him, as we have, the guy knows ball inside and out. And to get that, Salk, in the 5th round at pick 142 now, right, there's a real question about injury. And when are you going to have them? And ACLs are funky. And some come back in 8 months, and some come back in 18 months. Mm-hmm. So you never really know. But, man, what a worthy pick there, sitting at 142 to make that happen. And then the other one that's been the most curious to me outside of Arroyo is the wide receiver. And that his 2003 tape, he's a top 50 player as well. And then he's got an ACL, and he's got an injury. So this comes down to our buddy Sam Ramsden. This comes down to their medical staff. I mean, these are the areas that we don't talk about a lot. We love to talk about the first rounders and the second rounders and all that stuff. And we don't know the hits and misses with injuries. And I know this. There have been a couple players, and I don't think John would mind, that I've asked him about after drafts. I'd be like, man, I love that guy. I really like that guy, right? And he'd say to me, yep, just not cleared. Yep, just, not a projectable, sustainable product. He's got a knee, he's got this, he's got that, and some of them been misses. And the hits we don't know about, right? Necessarily. We just kind of focus on a few of those misses. But the 5th round for Tory Horton, I mean, we may be talking about him, honestly, this season. I mean, look at the opportunity he has. Pissed that he's a 5th rounder, I'm sure. But, who do they got? Who do they got to play outside? I mean, JSN's kind of an inside guy. Cup's made his living on the inside. Who am I competing with on the outside, when I walk here into camp, like I got an ample opportunity to make my mark. Stoked about him.
Yeah, as it sounds like you should be. The other thing, I guess, that jumped out to me listening and chatting with DJ there is one of his last comments. We've asked and kind of talked through the draft, and the word athletic has come up so much. When asked for more of a big picture takeaway, he went with productivity, right?
Yes.
This is a group of very productive players, something I know you've talked about a lot. Yeah. And I will admit, when I heard that, the word that jumped out and like stuck in my mind was Moneyball. That is one of the Moneyball things. It doesn't get talked about as much because it's not in the movie, and because it's not just on. When you hear Moneyball, you hear stats and on base percentage, right? But go back and read the book Moneyball. There's a whole chapter or two there on, hey, guys who have actually had success, don't ignore them just because they don't fit your scouting profile. Maybe they are getting it done a different way. And so, I don't know, that jumped out to me as like, hey, sometimes you just got to take productive players, and they did a lot of that.
Yeah, the NBA does more than any other league where they project.
Yes.
Because I think the jump, and I think of this Iowa center a few years ago that was the Big Ten Player of the Year. 6'10" guy, but he was kind of slothy, and he just couldn't get up and down the court. But he could finish, and he could rebound. But you just, the NBA is like, I'm sorry, that doesn't project. Like you've got to jump. You've got to elevate. The game is played above the rim, period, end of story. And I think in the NFL at times, like, yeah, that's super productive, but where and how does that production come? Ricky White, all these guys. I said it to you when we did the quick little, fire through these 11 guys on Monday. Like Ricky White is the all-time leading receiver at UNLV. And I know that's not a long list at UNLV, but, it's unbelievable production. Richmond started 50 games at left tackle at Iowa, right? Cable, who started 50 games of college at tackle at Kansas. Damian Martinez did at Oregon State in the thousands and thousands and thousands of yards that guy is rushed for. Like at every turn with your bottom four, production. And then, oh, by the way, in that little middle squishy area of Riley Mills and Horton and Oops, it's a little bit of like, there's some production, but there's injuries that have limited them. And if we're right here, we could be really right.
And then the other side of it is some guys, you do it based on their scouting and their projection. Even Worry's more about his projection, right?
That's
of like, what can you get that athletic upside? And it's not to say that that's not a good way of doing it either. Look, there's no better example in Seattle of projectability than Brian Wu. Right, guy didn't even really play much in college, and he wasn't all that good when he did. And the Mariners looked at it and they're like, oh, no, we see something there. So sometimes it's projection.
Salk,
sometimes it's what you've done.
Who was the wisest man to ever walk the face of this earth?
Solomon?
King Solomon.
Solomon.
And what did he believe in? Diversification. Diversification.
Is that what he believed in?
Yes. Diversification.
That was his thing?
Well, I mean, he had many things. He's the wisest guy in the world.
Right, that's true.
But he was also the king of diversification in the early centuries. So, yeah, you know what this draft class is? Diversification.
Really?
Yeah, you want an athlete? Give you an athlete. You want projection? Give you a projection. You want production? I'll give you production.
Wow.
Right? You want the blue collar? Yeah, there you go. Who would have thought that?
I've never heard diversification credited to Solomon.
Look it up.
Really?
Yeah, I'll send you some scripture.
Please do. I think I might need to see that. Plus, he had those minds that were so important as well. All right. Coming up in 20, I got a thought about the Mariners I want to make sure we get out today. We've got, what do we? Oh, we got trash takes. Where's my hat? No sign of the hat yet?
Is it not arrived yet?
No sign of the hat. No, I'm not sure. But I haven't seen the hat.
Go down to Kyle's office.
Okay.
It was supposed to Amazon.
All right,
deliver.
let me see. Let me go see if the hat's down there.
This big fight it created.
I'll tell you, that might be something you need to know next on Brock and Salk.
The draft.
It's a cool day in Seahawks history.
Is in the books, and we're breaking down every pick and how the Hawks came out of their most important draft in years.
Get a difference maker, and they got him.
Nick Worry. Kind of a Swiss Army knife kind of a dude.
Jalen Milroe.
Wow. This dude is a home run hitter.
However, Jalen deserves and earns the right to go out there, then we'll do that.
Exclusive insider content on the Seattle Sports app and YouTube, and the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
too. Have you noticed visible signs of aging, those deep wrinkles, fine lines, and facial creases stealing your youthful glow? Sagging skin, crow's feet, and loss of facial contour are all natural effects of aging, but you no longer have to let them define your appearance. Introducing the New Skin Lift, the groundbreaking facelift led by Dr. Brian Scott. The advanced New Skin Lift addresses key signs of facial aging for women and men, restoring natural youthful contours. Whether it's replenishing volume lost over time or lifting the skin to smooth out those creases, the New Skin Lift can help you look 10 to 20 years younger with both surgical and non-surgical options. It's Hollywood's best kept secret and now available to you. Get a free consultation and save $250 off your New Skin facelift. Schedule at newskinlift.com or 206-222-1225. Look 10 to 20 years younger and restore your youthful appearance with the New Skin facelift. newskinlift.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Big Nation Station reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or ride share, and let's bring our sons and daughters home safely. A message from the entire team at Big Nation Station. We've got a complete stock of beverages, snacks, hot food, and more, and wish the class of 2025 a safe and successful future.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement. Book a free estimate online, and when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. It's Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe accident by getting your free copy at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, obviously, the first thing you got to know is that Jorge Polanco is unlike anybody else right now in the world. There is no one hotter in the game of baseball. He cannot be stopped. Yesterday, it was 2 more home runs, 5 runs driven in. And yes, those were the only 5 runs they scored on the day. It's what they needed to beat the Angels. He had one early in the 2nd inning and then came back around in the 7th in order to provide all of the insurance that the Mariners would need.
Here's the 0-1. Swung on, drilled center field. It is a blast. It is on its way. It is good. Jorge Polanco, the hottest man on the planet. It is Planet Polanco. His 2nd home run of the game. Absolutely on fire. It is Jorge Polanco 5. It's the Angels 1.
Well, I would hope Jorge Polanco's the hottest guy on Planet Polanco. It's his planet.
So what's going on, Salky? What's going on with the gravitational pull? What's going on with the marine layer? What's going on with all these things that made T-Mobile impossible to hit? I mean, I've seen these guys just...
must be the same thing going on with the Mariners payroll.
I mean, I think Cal Raleigh's got how many bombs? I think he's leading the league.
Yeah.
You know, Polanco's 2nd in the league.
Yeah.
Like, did they change the gravitational pull or the marine layer in there?
No, they must have
spent
spent more money.
some of their dollars to do so?
No, they didn't do that either. Yeah, so I don't know what happened there. I don't know. It's hard to say, Brock.
They fix the batter's eye? They do something like in the early hours of to shift that thing around?
No. Didn't do that. He did change his swing, though. I'll tell you that much.
His stance,
made a little change to his stance, closed it on up, and seems to be working, certainly from the left side. I also think that it's really been helpful, and I know you've said this as well, just he's not playing the field. He's able to rest. He's not playing every day, and in his 30s, and some of the issues he's had the last few years.
He's not playing with expectations.
Seems to be
playing
helping.
with house money. He's playing with nothing to lose at this age and stage of his career as well.
And why Dan Wilson says he's been super consistent.
I mean, it's been great. I mean, it's been really, really good, and just the consistency, I think, is the thing that's amazing. Is to me, balls going out of the ballpark are great, but he's just finding a barrel almost all the time, and it just tells you a lot that his timing is really good. He's hitting breaking balls as well as fastballs on the barrel, and he's just in a place where he's seeing the ball really well, and as a hitter, that's a really good feeling.
It's a pretty good place to be. He's just flushing it.
Salky, you know how goofy my memory is on some things. I'll just remember, forget this and remember that. I so vividly remember, because you were not big on the Polanco trade when it happened. Everybody else was. Everybody else was throwing flowers at it. What a great move. And you're like, I mean, how much different is he than Colton Wong and some of the other guys at that point? And then last year played true, to your point, and even backwards. But I remember vividly Goldie, like a month before the season, and after that trade, he said, here's the thing about Polanco and how he's different than Wong, and he's different than Listella, and he's different than these other guys. He finds barrels. Like in his career and the percentage, and even from the year before, it was a really, really high barrel rate. And then last year was more of the anomaly with that. And whether it's stance, whether it's comfort, whatever it is, right now he's barreling it up in ways
that's literally Tommy Listella's reputation.
Tommy Listella?
Yeah. That was literally his thing. He could wake up and hit the barrel. That was what they said about Tommy Listella.
I can tell it wasn't.
But it literally was the thing that was his reputation.
Sure, for a bunch of those years.
Okay.
And then the end it wasn't. And then he thought maybe
to know how old was Tommy Listella when he was here versus
42.
How old? Huh?
He was 41.
He was 41? I don't think that's true. I don't think that's accurate.
Dude, in the last 2 years, I've seen 3 separate Tommy Listella jerseys out at the park. I don't know who's buying those.
He's got to be 35. He had to be 35 when he was here, did he not? Are you looking it up right now?
I'm legitimately
Put
looking
your
it up because
Ebenezer's on.
I'm a little curious.
You're not going to be able to see it without your Ebenezer's.
No, I can see it without my Ebenezer's.
Okay.
Tommy LaStella, when he was here in Seattle, was
35.
34. Polanco's 31.
Thank you.
Yeah. A couple years difference.
Younger.
I mean, well, light years.
4 years younger.
3
light years.
How do you take away 31 from 34
You
and
turn
get 4?
35. Polanco just turned 31.
How
That's
do you
light
get
years.
34 minus
Turn
31 and
light
get
years?
How do you possibly do that?
Next.
I don't
Random music.
understand.
Push.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Minus 34. Yeah, I think that's about 12. Yeah, it's a 12. It's a decade different.
I don't trust you. I'm going to look it up myself.
Makes
Go
sense.
ahead.
Yeah. Please don't trust that. Doesn't make any sense. Let's see. Seahawks making a move yesterday. They bring back Big Hank. Jonathan Hankins. Love this. No downside whatsoever. Bring back a guy that, had success for you, at least in some capacity last year. And it's what you need. A rotational piece on your defensive line so that you have enough depth there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you're right. Fine. It's 3 years. Kind of 2.5. Jorge's going to turn 32 in July, so fine.
Let's tone
but
it
that
down.
still is a couple years younger. LaStella was
It
still
is.
finding barrels at 31. He wasn't finding them at 34, unfortunately.
Is this just about age, or are you guys actually trying to argue who the better player is here?
No one's trying to argue who the better player was. Brock said the difference between Polanco and Tommy LaStella and Colton Wong is that Polanco, finds barrels. And I said, the whole thing about Tommy LaStella was that he found barrels. That was his one thing.
Anymore. They had bad eyes. Couldn't find his barrels anymore.
I'm not trying to sit here and defend Tommy LaStella. He shouldn't have been here. He wasn't very good. No one is Move it along. I'm done. I'm done today. Just done. Totally done.
Here's the third thing you need
Finish
to
up the show by yourself. I'm done.
No,
I'm
you're not.
walking out of here
Nelly.
a half hour early. You can finish this off.
Whoa, Nelly, no, you're
yourself.
not.
No, because I gotta go. I gotta get over to the. I gotta get over to Climate Pledge Arena to see the press conference. Pro Women's Hockey League is expanding to Seattle. They're gonna have the 8th team in the league. Vancouver is coming in at the same time as number 7. And they'll play a Climate Pledge games there, practice at Kraken Iceplex, and yeah, pretty cool. I'm excited.
By the way, you went through the mascots and some of the other teams, the
Yeah.
Sirens out in New York. Some pretty. Did you see the new WNBA team in like Golden State, the Bay
No.
Area? I don't even know how to pronounce their mascot. Valkyrie.
The Valkyries?
Yeah, what is that?
Like Flight of the Valkyries?
Yeah, what is that? Okay, but for the third time, what is a Valkyrie? If that's like your mascot, like what is that? I don't understand.
What is a Valkyrie?
Yes.
They're like
Like what?
huh? They're warriors.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But then the Valkyries, no, they're like what carries the they carry your soul to Valhalla. There you go. That's what it is.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes. It means the chooser of the slain, Brock. They were indeed as selective as their name implies. Only half of the Norse warriors who died in battle were carried by the Valkyries to Valhalla. The rest were spirited away to Folkvanger to spend their afterlives with
And
Freya.
again, why that's the Golden State WNBA women's mascot?
They're badass. They're the Valkyries. Dun, 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 dun. Haven't you ever seen Apocalypse Now? Sheesh. That's everything you need to know, and apparently some other junk in there as well. I don't like when I get into the position of having to defend Tommy LaStella because it's obviously a losing battle. He wasn't good. He wasn't even supposed to be here. He was only on the team because freaking Dylan Moore got hurt in spring training, and he shouldn't have started opening day. I have no specific reason to defend Tommy freaking LaStella. But if you're going to tell me that the difference between Polanco and LaStella is that Polanco has always hit barrels, that doesn't make sense because he also always hit barrels.
I should have stopped with Wong. I should have stopped.
That would have been fine.
Okay, sorry.
Jeez.
I dismissed that, Your Honor.
All right. Just
LaStella-
you know what? I'm out. I don't want to defend Tommy LaStella anymore. I'm going to argue something else you said yesterday, or at least ask a question about it. It's next on Brock and Salk.
Bump and Stacy.
Nick Imanwari's college coach. Head coach of South Carolina, Shane Beamer, joining us.
Hey, Coach, how do you think his game translates to the NFL?
He's got such a skill set because of his size and athleticism. He really can do so much from a coverage standpoint, from knowing what Seattle does defensively. And I think they like guys that are multifaceted and can do a lot.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
All right, let's talk about Crawl Pros here. This is the time of year with the rain. We've had a bunch of it recently, kind of obnoxious. I thought we were going to be done with it, but no, of course, spring rain can wreak havoc on your crawl space. So if that rain or groundwater can get into the crawl space, well, then it creates problems, maybe structural damage, maybe toxic mold. Nobody wants toxic mold. Well, Crawl Pros will come in, and they will keep your crawl space dry. They can install a sump pump and drainage, reroute that water back out and away from your home, and then take care of any mold that may have been created, maybe even address any plumbing issues that you might have in your crawl space. It happens certainly around here, and when it does, you want to call Crawl Pros, have them come out and do that free corner-to-corner inspection. If you're worried about water damage, mold, insulation issues, critters, anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday. Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Does your yard need shade, privacy, or a little brightening up? Look no further than Big Trees. I'm Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. At our 30-acre location, there are thousands of trees to choose from and knowledgeable staff, including a board-certified master arborist, to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Visit the nursery and learn more about Big Trees at BigTreeSupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
I like my teacher because she helps me with my problems at school.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, sponsored by WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Polanco and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Brock and Salk
weekdays 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports at 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, trash takes coming up here in 15 minutes. And yes, the Trash Master hat has arrived. So I'm ready to be full-fledged Trash Master in 15 minutes. Oh, yeah, no, I got the hat. I don't know whether anyone's going to be able to see the trash can that's on the hat. It's going to be a little hard to see. I think you're going to have to really squint, but the Trash Master hat will be making its debut in about 15 minutes. Breaking news just a couple of minutes ago coming out. The Mariners are indeed putting Luke Raley on the IL and calling up Ryland Thomas to take his place. So another injury, second in as many days. Position players that go onto the IL, Dylan Moore yesterday, and now Luke Raley today. Brock, the Mariners had a lot of injuries. There's no doubt. I mean, that's just been a fact so far. They've had 2, maybe 3 starting pitchers. We'll see what ends up going down here with Bryce Miller, but obviously 2. And there's really nothing you can do about that. It just happens.
No, there's not. You know who feels the worst about it?
Those
kind
pitchers?
Of their strength. I mean, the individual obviously does. Luke Raley's whatever core issue and Dylan's hip, and obviously, Robles' shoulder. That's a little different circumstance, running right with a traumatic event. But, naturally feels the worst about it. It's their strength and conditioning and development.
Maybe, but I don't think there's anything you can do about a pitcher getting hurt. It just is what it is.
I understand that, but it doesn't take away from them. It doesn't take away from them going, this
maybe. But when Jeff goes through how how the motion works and what the flexor and elbows do in turn, it is what it is. It's an unnatural motion. And unfortunately, when you're throwing as hard as these guys do, as often as they do, these are always lurking around the corner, and there's not much you can do. A little ironic maybe, or at least surprising, that the 3 guys dealing with injuries are the 3 you would probably expect at the least versus, versus Luis Castillo, who's had issues with his elbow forever, and Brian Wu, who had the forearm issue last year and issues the year before. They're the 2 you would expect first. But those are the 2 that have been most healthy this year. Well, there's nothing you can do about those.
Nope.
Then you start looking at the other side of it, the position player side. Polanco obviously has been hurt, although he's playing through it. Bliss, Robles, both done for long term. Now add Dylan Moore. Now add Luke Raley. And I want to start this by saying I don't know why all those guys have gotten hurt. There may not be a through line between them. It may just be some good luck and bad luck and just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. But it did dawn on me as you were talking yesterday, Brock, about how much they're pressurizing their opponent, that's great. Love that. Love pressurizing your opponent. And like all things in baseball, there are trade-offs with whatever it is you're going to do. There may be a cost. And I know I've told this story before, but when Jacoby Ellsbury, who was first called up in Boston in 2007, I remember talking to Tommy Harper about him. I don't know whether people remember the name Tommy Harper. He did play in Seattle with the Pilots for a year. I mean,
Tommy Harper.
It's going way back. Tommy, I think, is 85 years old.
Wow.
Great base runner, and when I was in Boston, he was one of the base running coaches there when Jacoby Ellsbury got called up. And he's a super nice guy you'd love to talk to, been around the game, obviously, forever and ever. And I just kind of remember him as Jacoby Ellsbury was running here, running there, stealing bases, running in from the outfield, diving this, like, hey, he'll learn. And I was like, what do you mean he'll learn? And he's like, you can do that for a little while, but the more you run around, the veterans will tell you to stop because they don't want you to make them look bad. But more than that, like, the more you do those things, the more strain you put on your body. And I can't tell you that's what happened to Jacoby Ellsbury. I can tell you that in year one, as a rookie, a full season, in his first 2 years, Ellsbury stole 120 bags. I think it was 50 and then 70. I mean, unbelievable. And then he got hurt in 2 of the next 3 years. He did steal 50 one more time after that. He stole 30 a couple of times, but he was out of the league by 33. 33 was his last year. Like, his body got beat up. It's really hard to run and dive and jump and steal and all of the things that come with it. No one can predict injuries. I'm not blaming their style of play on all of those injuries. That doesn't account for it. I just want to just kind of remind sometimes there are trade-offs to these things. I love the aggressiveness. I love it. It's not the aggressiveness's fault that Robles jumped into a net at the exact wrong angle or that Dylan Moore retreated to first too quickly and popped it. None of those things are the fault of their style of play.
Yep.
But when you are extra aggressive and you're constantly pressurizing your opponent, it can have a cumulative effect on your entire team. That's a lot of extra stress on the body. A lot more times where all of a sudden you start sprinting from nowhere, right? You're standing there, you're sprinting. It's a lot more time on your feet. It's a lot more slides into a bag where your hands or your fingers or your wrist are exposed. It's a lot more. It's just a lot.
Yep.
And, sitting back and just hitting home runs is a little bit easier on the body. It takes a little bit less of a toll over the course of 162 than running and pressurizing and all of the things that the Mariners have done really well so far.
Yeah. I think most listening, and I appreciate it, and it's kind of taking it a step further, and I'm not going to totally diminish the point at all, Salk, but I think most listening would probably be a little bit like myself. Like, that would make a lot of sense come June, July, August, like when there is legitimate wear and tear.
But sometimes it's not just wear and tear. It's just you catch it wrong.
Understood.
Right? I mean, hey, Dylan Moore ran 3 times, and the next time he turns too quickly and the hip pops a little bit. Again, I'm not telling you there's a connection.
No, and I know you're not. But as far as like the aggressiveness or the pressurizing, I would expect if you're going to see some of this, you would expect it, I would think, a little later in the year rather than the more you do,
the more often it can happen. That's all.
The first 30 games of the year.
Well, I mean, Warren Moon will tell you, Brock, that sometimes that's when you're the most tired.
Yes, during training camp legs. Yeah, but now you've got a couple with either the oblique or the back, right? With Polanco and with Luke Raley. And that's a bummer, a real bummer, especially for Luke, as he's kind of getting going, and likewise kind of had a slow spring and had paternity leave. It's just kind of been stops and starts and stops and starts. It looks like in some ways this has maybe helped Polanco. It's helped take him from the field.
I think it's absolutely helped him.
Yep. Now, but you do get to a point. There's no old John Claytonism. You do get to a point where you can handle one injury. Or you can handle one injury on the offensive line. You can handle one injury in the running back room. It's when you start to now lose significant pieces.
Yeah, and if I don't know what's going to go on with Bryce, but if he can't bounce back, I mean, the idea of losing 60% of your rotation plus Bliss, Robles, Moore, Raley, et cetera, I mean, that starts to take a toll.
Yes.
It hasn't been Julio and Arozarena and Cal. But at some point there is a lot of that. Unsurprisingly, this is not going to be a theory that's going to generate a lot of support among the people. I totally understand, especially because I'm not telling you the two are definitively connected. But we've been having this conversation, Brock, for 15 years. Remember the Ichiro conversation? Ichiro versus Junior, right? Junior played all out. He played all out, and during those years, he was unfreaking believable, one of the best to ever do it. But it did cost him
on the back end of his career.
Yeah, I mean, it cost him some longevity. He got hurt more often, and I think that those two things are connected. Ichiro, when he was playing, was often criticized for not stealing as much as he could, not diving as much as he could, taking, care to make sure that the toll on his body wasn't as high. And Ichiro goes into the Hall of Fame as well, partly because of his longevity, because of how long he was able to do it. Neither approach is right or wrong. They're just two completely different approaches, both of which led those guys to the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
If Junior had done it the other way, I don't think he would have been Junior. He would have had a longer career, might have hit more home runs when it was all said and done. But he wouldn't have been the guy that, was as lovable as he was.
Yeah, jumping into the wall, breaking a hammock
That's
bone.
right.
Yep,
and the same with
hard
Ichiro.
turf.
If Ichiro had dove for more balls or done some of the other things people wanted him to do, he might not have played as long as he did and had as many hits as he did. So, I mean, the game is funny, man. There's a lot of different ways to play it. And I don't want Victor Robles to play the game any other way. Right. A Victor Robles that doesn't dive into the netting is not Victor Robles and probably not worth having on your team. A Dylan Moore that isn't running and stealing and diving into second base isn't Dylan Moore and probably isn't worth having on your team. But a cumulative effect of all of the guys, or as many as the guys are on your team, kind of playing that way, I don't know that I'm necessarily surprised if there's like an element of a little increased injury risk this year.
Are you a little surprised that Locklear has still not gotten called up?
Well, yes and no. I don't know that I'm surprised here. I mean, I think they kind of just need the outfield. If Polanco can't really play the field, you're kind of just there's only so many guys who can only play first base you can have. And if Dylan Moore's hurt and he can't play the outfield, I think you just need another outfielder.
Gotcha.
Right? I mean, Samad Taylor can kind of do it all, but I'm going to guess Ryland Thomas is here just because you need another outfielder. The Donovan Solano watch, though, is clearly on. I mean, I know we like to talk about how, want to talk about the positive. I guess we're waiting for some of those same effects to reach Donovan Solano because he has not looked good at all since showing up here.
No, and Tellez has had some big bombs and some big blasts. But you would think at some point, if you're Tyler Locklear and you're watching all your buddies leave Tacoma and get their opportunities, and there goes Rivas, and there goes Williamson, and there goes now this young man today. Like, hey man, at some point I'm the one mashing down here, and I can play a really good first base. And at some point, I would think, I don't know if it's Memorial Day, as Jeff Passan says. Usually get to Memorial Day with a Solano and a Tellez and see what they're doing.
Maybe.
And give them at least 60 games. But I would sure, at some point, like to see Tyler Locklear get his 30 or 40 games to see, legitimately what you got in that young man's bat as well.
Is it fair to say that's probably a position they're going to be looking for at the deadline?
First base?
Could be, yeah.
I mean, they looked at it all off season.
Did they?
We've seen how. Well, yeah. Well,
we looked at it.
Well, okay, fair. We looked at it, and obviously that experiment's only going so right now. So.
But what's interesting, Lyle, and I haven't peeked at it in the last few days. So many of those names that we did reference throughout the offseason, you go look around at what Christian Walker's done to start the year, and the guy, the first baseman there, Wade, had a nice series against the Mariners. San Francisco, outside of that, has been just abysmal. Like a bunch of those moves of those big name guys have gotten off to some really slow starts around the league as well.
You could look at Pete Alonso too.
You could. That was never going to happen, but you could. He was never going to leave New York and come here and hit this part. Yeah.
I mean, it could have happened. It could have happened.
So, in all seriousness, Passan was throwing out some names when you guys asked about the deadline yesterday, and he threw out some names of some pitchers. The one he didn't throw out, and the one I am going to continue to circle, is Nathaniel Lowe. It's clearly somebody that they at least had some interest in. Rangers probably didn't want to trade him in the division. Nationals aren't that good. Like, I am circling that name with a bright red pen for the deadline.
They liked him last year at the deadline. I think they would have liked to have dealt for him last year and weren't able to get it done then. And if he were to come in here, I mean, Rowdy Tellez is a negative WAR player so far this year.
Right.
Luke Raley's now hurt and has been, the two of them combined are a 0 WAR player this year. So, I think if there's...
Solano is negative.
Solano has been worth negative half a run.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to, I don't know how to, like, that's hard to fathom. And none of this should be the focus today because these other guys, I mean, what you've gotten from J.P. Crawford, J.P. Crawford's leading the team in WAR, 1.4. He's ahead of Polanco. The defense obviously helps. Polanco, 1.3. Cal, 1.2. Those three guys, in addition to the 0.8 you're getting from both Julio and Randy Arozarena,
yeah,
I mean, that's pretty huge.
Can you scroll down there before we get to trash takes? I'm curious how a WAR, and Pass talks about this all the time, some of the limitations of that. Where is Mooney? Because Mooney is now, 11 for 11?
1.6.
What's that?
1.6.
There you go.
So actually the highest on the team. Sorry, I was just looking at position players. But yes.
11 of your 17 wins, he has closed it out. And many of those have been very, very slim margin.
Well, he hasn't given up a run.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal.
He's got an ERA of 0. Yeah. That would be 0. So he's been pretty good. He's got a whip of .73, Brock. He's been essentially unhittable. All right, let's hear some trash takes for the week.
Get it together. Y'all look like trash.
Trash takes.
It's a bunch of trash.
Oh, gosh. I thought it was trash.
On Brock and Salk.
That's a terrible take.
All right, the Trash Master is in. I got the hat on. Can you read it?
Yes.
Can you read what it says?
Salk, you know what? I'm going to make a bold proclamation right now. You need to wear hats more often.
Yeah? I used to wear hats all the time.
You look young.
Think so?
Yes.
I used to be more of a hat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say borderline cute.
Oh, wow. Thank you. It's nice.
I think you should rock a hat more often. That looks really good.
I don't like it. I don't like wearing a hat under my headphones. I wear it more on the weekends.
Okay. All right.
It's just something about the headphone thing. I don't know.
That looks good.
Think so?
Uh-huh.
Lyle, what do you think?
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Maura?
I don't know if it's trashy enough.
The hat? You think it's too nice? Yeah. Well, I was asking though, if you think I look good in hats, like Brock said.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, whatever. I don't really care. All right, what do you guys got? Give me your trash takes for the week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I want to go last
first, Brock?
I want to go last this week.
All right, Brock's requesting going last. Lyle, why don't you go first this week?
All right. This one certainly made its headlines over the course of the NFL draft, and it certainly did. It certainly got its fair share of attention, and I think for good reason, because this was Mel Kiper after Shedeur Sanders got drafted. We certainly know how he felt about Shedeur before the draft and during the draft, but even after his name got called, he decided to take it up with the entire NFL.
The NFL has been clueless for 50 years when it comes to evaluating quarterbacks. Clueless. All that, no idea what they're doing in terms of evaluating quarterback. That's proof. There's proof of that.
How many
they say we know exactly what we're talking about with quarterback. They don't.
By the way,
and you do.
I looked, and the only non-first round quarterbacks currently starting for NFL teams are Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, and Brock Purdy. There's not a lot of non-first rounders.
Right.
Yeah.
Starting.
A second, a third, and obviously Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah. Or I think Dak was a fourth, but close enough.
Fourth, you're right. Second, a fourth, and Mr. Irrelevant.
It's not a lot, Mel.
And as Reese said back to him after he's ranting, and Reese is just trying to shut him up. He's like, you know what?
And Russ.
What's your batting average? Yeah. What's your
right.
What's your batting average, Mel?
Right.
We all don't hit 1,000 here, buddy.
Yeah.
Like you love Jamarcus Russell too, pal. You know. Like we can go through your rankings too. Come on, man. Settle down.
That was a rough one. That was a rough look for Mel. Poor guy. And I can understand, especially when you get to that, like, you start, like, you feel like your reputation is at stake, right? Don't you think that's how Mel felt? And
100%.
Like, you just don't, handle that embarrassment well.
He bought the Dion train, man. He jumped aboard. Choo-choo.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough one. On the other hand,
choo-choo.
The kid's not a fifth-round talent. I mean, like, that is still sort of bizarre.
But I think it's that Mel was still talking about it even after he got drafted instead of talking about draft picks.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree.
This is less about Shedeur and more about Mel Kiper.
Right. No, I get it.
Trashy.
All right. Mel is Lyles. All right. Okay. Maura, what do you have this week for trash takes for the Trash Master?
I have Bills GM Brandon Beane. He went on WGER 550 in Buffalo. And the show had been talking a little bit about the draft before he came on. And overall, they said they liked it, but they just wished that they had taken a receiver. They only took one in the 7th round. Their receivers last year were Khalil Shakir, they're going to be this year, Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer, Curtis Samuel, and Laviska Shenault. Their top 2 receivers last year combined for 1,300 yards. JSN had 1,100 himself. So it's not like that unfair of a thing to say, but this was his This was how he greeted them.
It's a busy weekend for you.
Yeah, no, it was. It was. I was just listening to the last few minutes of your show before I came on, waiting on here.
All right.
Sounds like 2018 all over with you guys.
Well, how so?
Well, you guys were in 2018 about Josh Allen. You guys wanted Josh Rosen, and now you guys are that we don't have a receiver. I don't get it. Like, we just hold on, let me talk. We just scored 30 points in a row for 8 straight games. A year ago, I get you guys asking why we didn't have receivers, but I don't understand it now. You just saw us lead the league in points when you add all the postseason. No one scored more points than the Buffalo Bills, including the Super Bowl champions. So you just saw us do it without Stephon Diggs, same group. How is this group not better than last year's group? Our job is to score points and win games. Where do we need to get better? Defense. We did that. So I get it. You got to have a show, and you got to have something to about. But about wide receiver is one of the dumbest arguments I've heard.
Why did they edit out the word talk? Oh, maybe it was something else. Okay, got it.
I beeped it. I thought we might have been able to get away with him saying it once.
Yeah.
But it was like 6 times.
Yeah, I got
Too many
it.
female dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a little. What does Brock say? Sensi poo?
Little Sensi poo.
Little Sensi poo.
I think it's.
And then on my trash take, I know that you and Maura are gonna be a little Sensi poo, because he's the greatest coach of all time.
Oh wow!
10 Super Bowls, 7 champion. Blah, 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 blah. It's not weird that he's 90 dating a 20-year-old. Not weird
90.
at all. 74 dating his 15-year-old. Not weird at all. You know what was weird? Did you see this clip, Salk?
Yeah.
The little 60 Minutes interview or whatever?
Did, yeah.
Or in Today's Show interview?
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on.
Oh, that's great. That's good business.
Why won't they comment on how they met?
Well, you know what happens then in the void.
Yeah, people fill it. Why?
The weird part is they've already talked about. She said that they met on a plane and he signed her book.
Yeah, maybe that's been
debunked.
Maybe that's been questioned.
I mean, did they meet on one of these like celebrity dating site things?
Raya.
Is that what is it?
Raya.
Yeah.
Lots of other rumors.
I know.
around.
Yeah, you don't want to get too deep into that. All right.
Jordan, don't tell the Hall of Fame coach. Don't tell. Oh gosh, never mind. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That photo has been going around everywhere. People are using it as a new meme of the girl saying, "We're not talking about that."
Because she's
and
like
it's
kind
everywhere.
of, her face is half hidden. She's like kind of peeking out from behind production.
We're not talking about that.
Oh, okay. I guess we're not.
We're not talking about that.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Great trash takes this week. Let me go quick here. Maura, sorry. Kind of agree with him. Like, he's being sensitive, but like, dude, shut up. They don't need wide receivers. First of all, they're overrated. Second of all, they're already scoring a lot of points.
Yep.
Third of all, I'm kind of with him.
Bad choice.
Those guys should shut their mouth.
Josh Allen doesn't need weapons.
No, he's Josh Allen. They're putting up points. Run the ball, play defense, and he can throw the ball to that Keon Coleman dude. He's fun. I like him.
He had 500 yards last year.
Whatever. Who needs yards? So that one's out. Brock, I'm sorry.
We're not talking about that.
It's definitely weird, but it's not a take. So I'm
trashy.
It's trashy.
It's real
trashy. Is a great word for it.
Look at your hat.
You
What's
got
your hat?
trash part, but not takes.
Lyle wins this.
Lyle is the runaway winner. That's
Way to
Mel's take.
redeem yourself,
and
Lyle.
he sounds completely off his rocker. Like, that might be the end of Mel.
Yeah.
That might be it. He might not be back in the draft next year. We'll see. Or maybe in a much more limited role. All right, great work, guys. That is Trash Takes every Wednesday, of course. Tomorrow we will have Here's the Thing. So if you guys have late submissions for here, the winning is gone. The winning has gone to his head.
You win one time, and all of a sudden you got to crank the dials?
Gone to his head.
Yeah.
It's just gone to his head. Can't control him. Bump and Stacey are coming up next. Leave us some messages for Here's the Thing. Early Mariner baseball today. And we'll catch you guys at 6 a.m. Until then, hey.
Barn.
See you, everybody.
Get to the chopper!
Bump and Stacy.
Nick Imanwari's college coach, head coach of South Carolina, Shane Beamer, joining us.
Hey, Coach, how do you think his game translates to the NFL?
He's got such a skill set because of his size and athleticism. He really can do so much from a coverage standpoint, from knowing what Seattle does defensively. And I think they like guys that are multifaceted and can do a lot.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Right now, have beautiful, ultra-efficient, clean technology windows installed and pay $0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 18 months. Only from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. And they'll even pay your sales tax. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
No more waiting. It's time to go all in on that new car. And Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are the dealerships to make it happen. Why? Because they're all in for you. All in on the widest selection of new, used, and certified pre-owned vehicles with their combined inventory. All in on their amazing staff and incredible showrooms. And all in on setting you up with a test drive so you can take that car home the same day. Go all in, whether you're in the north or the south. Toyota of Kirkland and Renton got you covered. Visit in person today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO, Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call physical therapists directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners have a chance for a 7th consecutive series win today with a matinee game against the Angels. First pitch at 1:10 p.m. Pregame show starts at noon right here on Seattle Sports. Something we learned from Alex Mayer yesterday. This is the only 2-game series of the year for the M's. The NFL has fined the Falcons and defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich after a private number was leaked and led to a viral prank call. The number in question belonged to Shedeur Sanders, who was pranked by Ulbrich's 21-year-old son after he accessed his father's iPad.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Bump and I live from T-Mobile Park ahead of a matinee series finale. It's already the series finale between the Mariners and Angels, the only 2-game series for the Mariners all year. Bump, and a chance for them to win their 7th series in a row. You know what I didn't expect to be talking about on April 30th, though?
What's that?
Jorge Polanco potentially being AL Player of the Month.
I did. I don't know what you was talking about.
My bad.
I did.
Bump saw this coming. The rest of us did not.
Oh no, this is crazy. It's fun, man. And big ups to JP Crawford on the side. I got my nephew tickets to the game and he tossed him a ball. So thank you, JP, for that. But no, to Polanco, man, he's if you throw anything across the zone, he's going to square it up, especially if it's a fastball. He's killing it right now. His K rate's down to 11%, the lowest in his career. Runners in scoring position, he's batting like 550 or something like that with 1,500 OPS. He's the offense right now. He accounted for all 5 runs yesterday. And once again, if you throw a fastball anywhere in the zone, he's going to square that thing up, and it might be gone. So thank you, Polanco, for reminding us why they did pick you up. Because remember, there were some low times last year, man, when he's being booed, and he took it like a professional. He never came out and complained about his injuries or whatnot. He just ran back to the dugout and kept competing. So I appreciate him even more now, realizing what he was going through last year.
I'm glad you bring that up because it's not part of a story I necessarily forget about. It's just one I don't focus on, right? Like last night I was digging and finding some splits. Same thing you were doing where you're like, okay, how is he with 2 outs, runners in scoring position? How is he in high leverage situations? And it will not surprise anyone to know, great. Yep. The answer is his clutch stats are like out of this world. And because I was